What you're about to find out right now about all these major companies that give you and supply you with all of your tactical equipment is fucking insane. It is insane. It is outrageous. And then who really owns these companies?
Your dildos are made out of aerospace polymer.
So
Right.
Astronaut design. NASA approved.
compared to a cow, the buffalo produces like 3x the fucking methane, and there was just millions
You
of them
produce
all over
5x
the
the
fucking
methane of a fucking cow.
I know, dude.
That are butt fucking on the Senate floor.
How did that get memory hold so fast?
Everything
There
does.
was
It's the
OnlyFans.
internet.
It's not BLM riots. We don't have to go burn down CVS's. It's
Yeah,
just saying.
yes, we
like,
do.
Their finger is in your pie.
When someone corrects you and says Portia, they would turn you in if they were not.
They would.
Yeah.
It's enough to
It's
raise
insane.
questions.
It's enough to blow your mind up because it blew my mind up. We were all going, when we found out yesterday, we were going, oh,
It's enough.
oh, all right. Welcome to the 2A Procast.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi.
Oh, hello, please.
Oh, hello, Pre.
Yeah, welcome to the shenanigans and debauchery that are known as Nolan Jake and Mad Minute Tactician. You could find Mad Minute somewhere on IG. His link will be down in the description. He's a hell of a cat. The Sandalorian, as we all know and love. You can find him on our channel.
Hello.
But he's not serious enough for some of you creators out there, so I apologize.
I'm just a silly little Sally.
He's a silly little. He's
I'm a silly little sandal.
silly little goose, and then here's me, just a figurehead. Really, I'm just here because I
Two
can't.
shake,
Yeah, I'm here because they can't tell me not to be. That's the only problem. Yeah,
Ouch.
they can't tell me.
Just self-deprecation at its finest.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great show, everybody.
Yeah, thanks
See
for
you
tuning in.
See you next time. What are we? We're going to talk about some things today. We're going to talk about what we do
And,
and
here we are,
peel back the curtain a little bit because apparently,
the beef curtains.
apparently, although we've established a pause.
Wow.
And I have no idea where I was because
Game
I
on.
got a phone call in the middle of that. So sorry for completely interrupting your podcast.
Disappearing.
I know. We're going to talk about some of that, and we're going to talk about all the stuff that you love. That for the Gucci boys out there, all the products that they know and love, and where they really come from, who's making them, who's backing them, and who is a part of the cult that is going to be our demise one day. And we're also hopefully going to eventually get to this. Staccato versus high point thing that you and I did.
Never.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have time in the last 15 minutes. Maybe we won't. But if you're not in the Discord and you haven't had your taint tickled by all those cats in there who also love guns, it's completely free. And it's discord.gg/2apro for you skanky hoes. And the link will be down in the description. Get in there and get prepared and find your channel, like whatever your state is, and go out and train with those dudes that are in there. Train like, like working out. That's what we're
Not
talking.
running a train.
Not running a train, certainly not starting a militia.
No.
Wouldn't want to do that.
No.
No. But it can all be found in there. Everything except starting a militia. That's not what we're doing here.
No.
And
forbid you do what's outlined in the
and
Constitution.
you know how it goes every time I tell you guys. If you like, I'm telling you.
He's telling you.
I'm telling you.
He's telling you.
That if you want to literally leverage every resource that we have, which apparently we don't have any resources according to these influencers, because all we are is a Chinesium company ordering. What you're seeing right now is a facade. We have this wooden background, but the rest of the company is nothing but a shell. There are no employees here. There is no manufacturing facility.
We're actually outside.
We're actually outside.
This is all a green screen.
This is not real.
We're AI generated.
If you want to make some money in the Second Amendment, we help you do that, and that's through the 2A program, whatever. It's this course that
program.
we're in, Nolan's in, showing you how to shoot video if you want to be a famous YouTube influencer. And like, I show you how to make products in the industry, and you could leverage our products, and you could drop ship our stuff if you want to. And we give you a bunch of products to send to gun shows, and you can make like 5,000 in a weekend. And I swear to God, it fucking works, because there's over 300 people in the program actually doing it and making a fuck ton of money. So the link is down in the description.
And
price is going up soon. It is fucking incredible. It's the 2A Pro course link /enroll or something, team.2apro.com, whatever, you'll find it.
And congratulations to all you guys that are in the course and killing it. That's fucking
Absolutely. Congratulations to those of you who are in the course. who are participating in this adventure with me, who are in there and collaborating, being part of the community. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this is a complete labor of love for me. Being able to fucking help the Second Amendment and being able to help you is very meaningful. It really is. And I mean that in all, I'm not genuine very often, but I'm getting genuine right now. It means a lot to me that you guys are in there and you guys are actually doing the fucking work.
Those dudes doing really good.
Yeah.
Like, I've got, like, I'm filling a bunch of those orders, and like I see the same names pretty consistently.
Yeah, it's getting drop shipped.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm dropping their shit before it ships.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's cool. And there's this one thing that I wanted to address that are people like, well, I'm scared and I'm terrified and I don't want to do it. It's the same thing. Like, cause I put my phone number in there to, like, if you go on the actual link, my number's in there so that people can hit me up via cell so that they can ask questions about it. Like, hey, what is this? Seems too good to be true. You know what I mean? And I say, well, fuck it is. Give me your money. You know, and I'm like, no, but they ask questions. But the main concern is always like, it's always, I'm afraid and I'm scared. And like, how scared are you of being in the same fucking position that you're in 10 years from now and not actually trying something new? What is the worst that can fucking happen? It's gonna be, you go out and you take the inventory and you go resell it, you make your money back in the course, nothing ever manifests, and you fucking broke even, and you at least tell yourself you tried. Here's the thing, man. You will not fail if you do not quit. And when I started, I didn't have this program. I didn't have fucking anything. I had like random YouTubers and books that I would have to find to be able to like grow the company.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to shake these motherfuckers, because it's like, dude, I am showing you everything that you can possibly do to do it. And the people that are doing it are making it.
Right.
The people that are like, it's just not for me. You're fucking right. It's not for you. You're fucking right. It's not for you. Get the fuck out of the way and let everybody else do the fucking thing. I'm so sick of fucking hearing people be like, I don't know if I can do it. I was like, I've watched some dumbasses, not in the course. You guys are cool. But I just in general, clarification, in general, like people that I know make money doing and running businesses. Like, and if they can figure it out, you can figure it out.
Look at who the president of the United States is right now. You got it.
If you can't sell some shit online, I'm like, we literally deliver a website to you in the course. You log into the course. We're like, here's a fucking website. Once you give us the domain and the brand that you want, I cannot make it any simpler than that. Where you're like, hey, I'm gonna just fucking here, and just all you have to do is these exact things and follow the steps. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done venting
Directly to me.
He
yells at me a lot.
I'm like, dude, because it gets frustrating. I'm like, dude, like it's on a platter, and maybe I should take it off the platter, because you take it off the platter and people start doing more work. Like, yeah, I got to figure it out for myself. But
maybe
I'm glad that it's a bit of a springboard.
I was talking to Brandon today, Barbara Brandon.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was watching these videos, and there's these guys, you know, they're trying to motivate you to take courses or do things. And he's like, a lot of them will be like, you're a pussy, fucking do it, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to say any of that shit. He's like, but what I will say is, fuck you for not trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
dude, straight up.
Oh, that hits you in the
dude, grit,
in the
talent,
gut.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
It does. It will. Like, you can
just try.
Just keep going.
Just try something.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be this course.
Mm.
It could be something else in your life. Just fucking try.
Yeah. They're dudes like we've talked about before, you know, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, but he just fucking outworked everybody. I know we've talked about this before, but like the people just outwork other people.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's going to evolve. It's going to grow. It's going to change. You start with a 2A Pro course, and that gets you drop shipping, and you learn about retail, and you learn about website design, you learn how to manage your money, and then you start something else.
Like, fuck, maybe you just wanted to open a landscaping business. I don't know, but now you got a fucking website. You know what I mean? It's like now you know how to run a business. Now you know how the accounting works. Now you got all your payment processes in place, and you're just like cutting trees down. I don't fucking know.
And now instead of having to take every single phone call and try and reach out via paper pamphlets, you have a website and you have ads running, and people are clicking on you, and they're scheduling through the website, and you don't even have to do shit.
Yeah.
And then you can hire some local kids to shill for you on social media.
That's what I tell people to do too. They're like, well, I don't know what tactical equipment to make. I'm like, don't make fucking tactical equipment. Have a Second Amendment foundation for your business.
Right.
Then
do whatever you want to do.
Do whatever you want to do, because like
coffee's not tactical.
Coffee's not tactical, but Black Rifle Coffee came around and they're a $1.4 billion company. Did you know that?
There's a bunch
Jesus Christ, man. And all they did was like, well, I like coffee. I like guns. Smash them together. Here we go. Can you do that with supplements? Yeah. Can you do it with like fucking shoes? Yeah.
Can you do it with sex toys? Probably.
And you can make some pretty cool tactical sex toys, some fully automatic ones, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink. You know, something that starts with a fucking
I don't like that grunt
chainsaw.
you just
What was
gave my
that? Did you burp or did you?
I just immediately want to know the decibel suppression of a fleshlight.
Oh,
Like I
what?
immediately need to. Have you seen the
decibel?
inside of fleshlights?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have not.
Not-
I acting like I have.
Dissimilar from a suppressor.
You have seen the decibel suppression?
No,
of
I
a-
want to now.
Oh, got it.
I
Oh,
bet
you're
you-
wondering
I
like
bet
what
you
would
it
happen
works.
if you threw a fleshlight over the top
I
of
bet
it?
you it works.
PSR's done that.
Have they?
Yeah.
I bet you it
PSR
works.
Yeah.
It's not like it has no longevity and like pressure, but
I bet you
Dude.
got one shot out of
Hey,
it, maybe.
hey,
It's better than
hey! You're
tennis
not allowed to.
balls and
We're not allowed to watch PSR anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Bakken told us not to.
Sorry, my
He's
bad.
not serious enough.
Yeah, so
And I'm sorry for not being serious. I think I was pretty serious the last few minutes.
you were pretty serious.
Lucas would be proud.
He'd be proud of you.
Oh,
the
so
absolute
proud.
craziest thing about that is that no one in any professional job,
Yeah.
like where lives matter, whether you're a surgeon or a doctor in the ER, a firefighter, EMS people, cops, everyone in the military,
Yeah.
no one is serious.
No,
Like,
nobody's.
no one is serious. You can't do that job and be fucking serious all
But
the
guess
time.
what? He was none of.
None of those things.
None of those.
Listen, I don't want to
So-
talk about
okay.
fucking business more. Okay.
Speaking of being
Chill.
serious
Or
serious.
Oh.
No, let's talk serious. Are you still gonna fucking fight anybody?
Yeah,
you
I'm
want me to
working
bring
on
that
it.
up?
We already talked about it.
I know
Yeah.
we talked about it, but the Armored Republic guys that called you out. Yeah.
I'm still trying to set something up.
Are they cool with it? Are they down?
Haven't heard back from them. But we're gonna find out.
Figures.
So I'm working on trying to set something up, working on that. If that gets set up, then that'll be cool. And if not, then I'm just going to hit him up again.
Straight up real talk, I got a hypothetical. Would you let him bring a knife to a fight? Like if he was like, look, the only way I'll fight is if I get to bring a knife with like a 6-inch blade. Would you fight him?
That's really dumb. I don't want to get cut, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
It's real easy to cut someone with a blade.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Is there any such thing as a knife fight where you don't?
It's a hypothetical.
That was
Like,
like,
would you do it? Don't be a pussy. Don't be a pussy.
just say yes. You can back
Just
out
say
of it.
yes and let's move on.
Maybe.
It's they already put themselves up as tribute for the first person that we were trying to fight, right?
Yeah.
So they have put themselves up as tribute, so they can just turn around and like we'll show up and it'll be like Brock Lesnar and fucking
Look, that's cool.
Champion.
Yeah. So I wanted to, like, for anybody, there's probably some dudes out there that are trying to figure out who we are at Tacticon Armament. Other creators maybe that might be watching this that, haven't, I probably not, but I'm saying there might be. And
I don't know, man. The amount of creators that bring up like the podcast is surprising to me.
yeah, what's interesting is I think people think that we're somebody that we're not. I'm gonna walk through what we are.
Mhm.
We're an American company based in kind of America. We're in California, so it was like kinda.
You guys just suck that California is the coolest state.
Yeah,
dude, moving out.
Yeah, it is, but see, we get to leverage like federal privileges, like when you get like an FFL, you know what I mean? Because then like we can have I can have suppressors.
Yeah.
I can have like we just get DWP, SBRs, full auto, all that stuff. Like
you
it's
could
all
keep a belt-fed 240 in your truck if you wanted to.
Yeah,
you
man.
in the FFL. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so like if you're in California and life sucks because you have to maglock and all that dumb shit that comes along with these neutering your AR-15.
Get an FFL.
Just go get an FFL, man. Yeah, I mean, like you can't just like go and get an FFL. I get it. Like,
But
well,
just
it
go
seems
get an
easy, but just go. I mean,
do it.
Just do it.
if you want it bad enough, you'll figure out a way.
Start with 2A Pro. That'll get you enough bankroll.
Yeah, start. Go down in the description, click on the enroll link.
This
to
was
2A
a
Pro
whole bunch of
course.
show.
This is all a show, the entire fucking course. But who we are is we have, roughly, we have 40 employees, American, United States employees.
Well, one's Taiwanese, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. One is technically Taiwanese with a green card.
Yeah.
The other one is
She's great.
Yes, she's great. She's great. We have another Indian dude that
Yep,
works for us.
Mr. Singh.
Yeah, Mr. Singh.
Love
Yeah,
him.
that's a great dude. One of the
Yeah.
best employees we got.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is like the ethnic employees on staff are surprisingly outperforming most of the Americans, which is not to be fucking not surprising. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
That's
so
the
like
standard.
to anybody out there that's wondering like we're closing our borders because they're taking our jobs. That's not
No,
why. We want ethnicity in the country. We want the performance.
They're not
of
taking,
the
they're not
ethnicity
taking
in the
your
country.
middle management job
No.
that hurts rental car. Do you know what I mean? That's not the job they're taking.
Fuck outta here
They're
with that.
taking manual labor jobs that that you think you're too good for.
Isn't
talking about-
America supposed to
We're
be
talking about
melting pot or
terrorists
something?
that are entering the country illegally that are going to bomb you one day.
Yeah.
The
That's what-
100,000 Chinese nationals that have crossed the border.
But
Listen,
we have a full manufacturing facility. We have almost 40,000 square feet between warehousing and manufacturing and a fucking full like staff and customer service and fucking you, you know, and we have a gun shop. We've got a retail shop, which is a tactical
Right.
lounge. We're acquiring a training facility right now, dude. Like
which
we're
if you did your
we are not-
diligence, you
do
would
we
see it
order-
all on our videos.
Do we order things from overseas?
Yeah.
Yes, of course we
Who doesn't?
do. Do we make a lot of our own shit? Yes, of course we do. And if there's anybody out there who legitimately doubts it, I will invite you out and I will allow you like to take a full tour of the facility and see everything for yourself.
Yeah.
Like I have nothing to hide.
Right.
Zero shit to hide.
In fact, we're very vocal about it.
No. And if you like, listen, man, if you, one of the best ways you can really figure out what we do, because I literally peel back the whole curtain,
Is
to
watch our
join the
videos.
2A Pro course.
Or that.
I will never stop.
Full circle shill.
We're going to hit the 3-hour mark and it's just going to come.
No, seriously, I would invite anybody out to be able to see this because it would just like, some people need proof. And I
Right.
totally understand it.
Right.
That me walking around the facility with video maybe not be proof. I'm in somebody else's facility.
Well, people love
So-
to jump to fucking conclusions too.
Yeah.
That's
People-
their
it's-
favorite.
Yeah.
There is a, we're going to get into it, but there is a hesitation in the industry. Everyone in the 2A space, everyone in the social media space that's kind of speaking out against the powers that be right now.
Yeah.
There's a big push to do that. Like Joe Rogan was really the first person to pierce the veil, but from him, that tree has a million branches now. But everyone in the 2A space seems unwilling to approach the fact that like, if you're a DoD contractor, you may not have my best intentions at heart when you're making business decisions.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's.
Yeah.
I
And
think
the Tacticon provides an alternative to those products.
I think that touches a couple nerves that people don't want to address, which one of them is kind of like the idea that what the DoD has is like the top tier shit when like we've talked about it, mil spec, the shit that the military gets is the lowest fucking bid.
Mhm.
You know,
It's
Like,
always
that's how it
lowest
works.
bid, yeah.
It's the lowest bid.
early
Yeah.
2000s F-150s. Remember those commercials? They were dropping shit in the bed.
Hell
of pickup
yeah.
trucks.
Sick.
They were like a military grade aluminum beds, and then they had to recall a bunch of them because all the beds in the trucks were like getting holes and random shit. And like,
Yeah. Let me tell you something about
military-
military grade
there's
aluminum.
military grade right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Aluminum comes in a couple varieties, 6160, 7175, and I mean, that's pretty much fucking it, guys. Like that's it. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
most of everything aluminum that you're ever going to find
It's
is
6061 or 7075.
6061 and 7075. Did I said
7175.
I said 70. Sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, 6061 and 7075. Aluminum. So
Numbers.
it's one of those things where it's like, is it aircraft grade aluminum? Yeah. Do aircrafts use that? Yeah. But does your like, you know, the piece of equipment in your kitchen use it? Yeah. You know, it's just
Like we used to call polymer aerospace plastic.
yeah.
Well, and how many military aircrafts crash? Like how often do you see like military members died in a training crash?
A lot.
It's like every
All the time.
Your dildos are made out of aerospace polymer.
So
Like,
astronaut design, NASA approved. That's so
emphasis on the ass.
Why, dude? I am
Yeah,
going
this-
to sell dildos on the internet now. I need to revamp everything that Mad Minute Tactician says. We're going to sell tactical sex toys.
Yes.
Military grade tactical sex toys.
aerospace approved.
Do you want to know something interesting?
MadMinuteTacticians.com.
You want to know something interesting? This is not a secret. I'm not calling anybody out. I mean, he makes it public. The CFO that we have for Tacticon, Sir Mr. Dan, that you know, that you've
Love
dealt
Dan.
with multiple
I fucking
times.
love
Do you
Dan.
know what he was like when he first started his journey as an accountant for a company? What he was the controller for that? What type of business it was for?
Was it
He
for
was a pimp?
flashlight, dude?
It was for sex toys. It was dildos. It was a
Hell yeah.
dildo manufacturing facility.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, from dildos
I
to
know
guns.
Dan's getting.
Yeah, he went
every
he
year.
went from dildos. Listen to this, dude. These are the industries he was in. He was a dildo controller to a controller for multiple casinos, and now he's
This is why
now he's with us with guns.
Yeah.
So he went from dildos to gambling to guns.
This is why I can't.
Just
Drug
fucking-
sex and rock and roll, baby.
Sex and rock and roll.
There's a little touch of criminal behind his eyes. You can see it in them.
It's like, how can I break the law the best?
especially with the accent, dude. I mean,
I would
and
never
then
press
that's going back to the ethnicity part of it, right? Like, look who look at who the chief operating officer of our company
Mhm.
is Danny.
Yep.
He's Asian.
Yep.
Our controller, our CFO, the guy that does all the finances, like Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know he's white, but he's Polish. Who his family immigrated to Mexico and then immigrated here.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dude, like these are some of the highest performing, highest paid guys in the company, and what is happening out there?
Just people
Jesus
doing
Christ.
stuff.
Being Emma.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't even know where I was going with this.
Just saying that the United States is made up of immigrants,
Yeah. Hey.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's
something
almost like
that.
our strength comes from
Oh, no,
the
we were-
mixing of cultures and
we were-
immigration.
I was going back to the original conversation where we're talking about like where stuff is made, how it is made, what's better, what's not, and who is providing the equipment. Now, here's why it's important of who is providing the equipment. It is who, if you don't know who owns the company, then you don't know what their intentions are to do the things with the equipment. As you said yesterday, I'll let you say it.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for putting me on the spot and letting
Sure.
my brain be complete white noise when you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if you're looking at your big time DoD contractors, ultimately at the end of the day, Kamala Harris, like we were talking about yesterday, said that in her first 100 days in office, she's going to use executive orders not to create firearms legislation, but specifically to enforce it. When she gave her speech, she said that Congress has passed lots of legislation, but they failed to enforce it. So her intent is to use executive orders in her first 100 days to grab AR-15s out of Americans' hands across the country through executive orders. Who are going to be the people coming to take your guns? What equipment will those people be carrying?
Right.
And if you're going to grab the reins on DoD contractors and say that they're not allowed to arm the American public, they haven't been able to draw a hard line with political statements on Twitter.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to draw a hard line and say, no, we're not doing that we're going to arm the American people. The major DoD contractors are the enemy. If you were willing to sit at home and say that there is a threat from within the United States, from within our own government, if you believe that it's us versus them now and not so much Republican versus Democrat, those companies are arming the opponent. It just is what it is. And again, like Tacticon creates an alternative supply source for the American patriot. It just is what it is.
That's what the whole thing is about. Nobody owns this guy. There's no holding company that owns this company. I don't share it with anybody. I don't have to ask permission for anybody. I take your insights.
Right.
I'm like, hey, can I say, and then long beep here. Like you say no, because we'll get arrested.
Right.
So I take your insight
Right.
on the things that I can and can't say on social media, for example. I take, the legal's insight on like, hey, can I just, can I circumvent the fucking gun laws and make this thing? No, you can't.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
I gotta watch the videos. I keep forgetting to watch.
when it comes to like who we're going to serve, like who is the most important human being to us, it is the American citizen.
Right.
Period. End of story.
With all these people talking about the citizen defense industry,
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the citizen defense market.
We are here for the citizen. I will never allow any government contract to
come
ever
away with
interfere of me being able to supply the citizens. Period. And nobody can tell me otherwise because nobody else owns the company. I'm not beholden to any investors. There's not one person who has put $1 into this company that owns 0.001% where they could somehow say, I don't necessarily
Right.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Right.
And these
No.
other companies are controlled by at max,
Like you don't even know who the
20%.
fuck they're controlled by. And so that it comes to personal responsibility also for creators. Look,
man.
like creators,
That's the answer for everything always.
it's personal responsibility for creators to say like, and there's this level of hypocrisy that comes from somebody that's saying, I support the Second Amendment and I support our ability to be able to protect ourselves against enemies, foreign and domestic, via the Second Amendment, and then shilling for DoD companies who you can't even trace a fucking owner to,
right.
Who in a heartbeat would flip the fucking script and say, I'm not giving it to Americans anymore. I'm only giving it to the government. And they're going to use that equipment to kill the fucking citizens if they had their way.
Why are we arming ourselves? The belief that the civilian populace needs to start really digging our heels in and saying like, hey, I don't like where this road is going is because we believe that the defense contractors and the deep state is running away.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we allow them to be the people that pick the equipment that we use?
Right.
Like why if we're saying the Lucas Bakkens of the world and the entire movement within the 2A space that pushes that kind of agenda, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
But why are you saying the only person to decide what value is the enemy? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it just makes no no sense.
No.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. And there even those who we choose to do business with. For example, the most recent contract that we're going to be manufacturing rifles for here pretty soon is Placerville PD, right? So Placerville PD, why is that important? Because we know who they represent. We know the type of police department they run. We know that they allow their citizens to remain armed. They're not, as far as their stance on the Second Amendment goes, those boys up there, they operate.
We know that police cheated.
They operate in red territory, and they don't fuck around. They're not going to go out and disarm their citizens. I know for a fact that if the orders came down one day, like no one's an absolute fact, but if the orders came down one day where you got to go get the guns away from these guys, they'd probably say fuck you.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of department they are. Most sheriff departments are like that too. So it is also about, if you're a company like us, who do you choose to do fucking business with? Right? Who do you choose to do business with? Are you going to do, am I going to go into a contract with the ATF? Never. We don't agree we don't agree with the establishment of the ATF. So why would I supply them with gear?
Oh, look at all that personal responsibility that just fell out of your ears.
They could come to me today with a $50 million contract offer because nobody else will do it. They're like, hey, other guy in the industry said no. We're just going to have to give it to you. I swear on my fucking life, I would say no. Because that is exactly what it needs to be.
Right.
You can't have the scabs out there that are fucking,
Well, and that's why all these companies are owned the way that they're owned. That's why they've been blown apart and put into all these investment groups and these holding groups, because you can't have that shit. You can't have a guy that goes, well,
no, I'm not doing that. How amazing would it be if like every single private entity out there just chose not to do business with the states that don't allow their citizens to arm themselves or put body armor on there? And what I mean by that is, look, if I'm not going to sell you armor to a fucking cop in New York, nothing against cops in New York, but it's like, if your citizens in New York can't have body armor, then why the fuck would I sell it to you?
Right.
Yeah. And that's fundamentally who we are. So if you're wondering who we are and like what we represent, that's what we represent. I will not sell our fucking body armor, and we will never sell body armor to states like Connecticut and fucking New York that won't allow their citizens to arm themselves, even with passive body armor. Fuck that. I won't go into contract with New York PD, not with a $20 million contract, not with anything.
It's like owning a car company and being told you're not allowed to sell seatbelts.
Now, talking about government contracts, one thing that Danny and I did do was we went out to Virginia a couple of weeks ago. We went to I always say Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferry Island, what is the place?
In Virginia?
Yeah, it's the fucking CBP.
Fairfax?
No, it's in West Virginia. God,
bro,
damn
what are we
it.
talking about right now?
It's the
Ferris
CBP.
Landing?
It's the CBP. It's the Customs and Border Patrol compound. But we went out there for an armor contract. You're from Virginia.
I know. I don't know what we're talking about though.
All right.
Apparently, I didn't get. I don't know.
Okay. So
Jake went out there to meet with the CBP.
So I went out. I went out there to meet with the CBP to entertain an armor contract to see what they wanted spec'd out for them, because I obviously want the Customs and Border Patrol to be protected, because I agree with that establishment and what they do in protecting our borders.
Yeah, and
so I will do. Yes, I will do
business
business with them because I agree with what they do.
First off, they're savage for calling out Joe Biden immediately on his own stage.
That was fucking awesome.
That was the greatest thing I've ever
When
seen.
he said the CBP endorses me, and then they got on Twitter and said, no, they don't.
Right.
Within
It was like, just to
minutes.
clarify the
Never.
record or something.
never.
Yeah.
Never endorsed him.
I think he was still talking when that tweet went out.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
it was. Well,
you can be as optimistic as you want. There are bad actors in the world. And unfortunately, I don't want those bad actors near me. And so CBP kind of has a pretty crucial job.
yeah. Dude, I mean, look at the American institutions of power. Look at the new VP pick for Kamala Harris. What's what's his first name? Matt?
No.
I don't know. Tim? It doesn't
Whatever.
matter. Walls. There's this infamous video going
Walls
around,
likes
like,
balls.
Yeah, well, like they made the big announcement, and they're in this big like arena, and there's people everywhere, and like Kamala Harris and her husband, like the way they kiss each other is just so like
It's fake.
disingenuine.
Yeah.
And then Walls and his wife have this like handshake thing they do, and then they like hug like they hate each other on a basketball team. It's the strangest. Like, why do we allow these people that clearly have destroyed personal lives? Like, they're just strange, weird, creepy people with creepy sex lives. We just all collectively sit at home and go, yeah, those people, they're doing a good job. They have my best intentions at heart. They're doing it for me.
Well, I just said this to you earlier, which was this is going to be a little dark, so forgive me. There are mothers that kill their children. That like there are mothers that or parents that keep their kids in Munchausen syndrome by proxy, purposely poisoning their children so they stay sick, so they keep attention.
Mm-hmm.
There are fathers that do horrendous things to their children.
To their own children.
To their own children. That is your flesh and blood. You bore that to raise it, to give it life. That is the most sacred thing on the planet to you. And yet, we're trusting politicians have our best interest. Like, just think
With
about that for a
absolutely
second.
no evidence, too, right?
You're-
They never have to explain policy or answer for questions. They're never held accountable when they drop the ball and fuck
Question.
things up.
Question.
Or
If you-
violate law.
if you
Why
don't-
aren't they arrested? You're violating law. If I
you-
violate laws, I get arrested.
Right. If you don't know your neighbor, right? Like, you just move into a neighborhood. You don't know your neighbor. You going to go give him your wallet?
No.
Why are you giving money to the government?
Yeah.
I know.
You don't know them.
You're giving money to these like super strange people that clearly don't love their spouse and have no kids. That's kind of
That are butt fucking on the Senate floor.
How did that get memory hold so fast?
Everything
There
does.
was
It's the
OnlyFans
internet.
content made in one of the most important buildings in the country, and it wasn't just like any content. It was like super graphic, gross, gay anal sex, and we just no media source thought
I could
that was
see
a
that
story
guy's
worth
lower
talking-
intestine.
I know, but like rewind 20 years ago.
I have no idea what you guys
Are you
talking about.
serious right now?
What are you guys talking about?
Two guys butt fucked
It was an
on the
aide.
fucking.
I think it was Schumer's aide.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on this.
Oh, you're talking about the
They were running
I got
OnlyFans
yeah.
content. They were filming it in like the hall, like
In the
Congress,
halls of
like, where they
Congress.
had,
I know what you're
like,
talking
their
about.
Senate-
I tuned you out as soon as I heard anal. I was just like,
Dude, it's
fuck.
totally insane.
It's
It's
so
totally
hot.
insane.
It's so hot right
So, all right.
now.
But like,
Just immediately
speaking
got hard.
about these people, did you guys see this AI photo?
Oh yeah, this is super bad.
Have you seen this?
Well,
You haven't
no,
seen
I
this?
didn't. No, we'll put it up on the screen for
Yep.
you, but I'm gonna react to it right now. React.
What do you notice
Correct.
about this photo?
Let me see.
I love that you found something I hadn't seen yet. That's gold. How long does it take you to catch that it's AI generated? I don't think obviously the plane and them are, but
It took me 10 seconds.
yeah. Well, it's the it.
'Cause I know
what
what
it
I'm
is,
looking
but
for.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
I can see the. Have you run across all the Instagram girl pages? They came
I
out of
subbed
nowhere,
every single one of them.
dude.
You
My
see,
paycheck is
There's
gone every
so
month.
many. There's
Yeah.
so many, and they're all AI driven.
Well, now like the top. Don't
Oh,
ask me why I
shit.
know this, but the top creators like on
There-
OnlyFans right now are like AI generated.
Yeah, dude, imagine if you could pimp without
there's
dealing with the bullshit.
nobody in the reflection of that plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nobody there.
There's
Yeah.
nobody
There's
there.
nobody
Yeah.
there. It's
There-
it's a
oh
fake
my-
photo.
Which
Dude.
That if I saw another one of these, when
Wow.
you zoom in on some of the phones, like somebody's taking a
There's-
photo of the sunset.
yeah, when it's,
somebody's
I
taking-
saw that too. I was zooming in on
Yeah.
phones because none of the phones matched. To
Who
the,
posted this?
Kamala fucking Harris?
Kamala Harris posted
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
She had all these
Her team did.
supporters standing outside of her fucking plane.
Yeah, and it's
Their team,
blatantly
yeah.
AI.
And there's nobody there.
Nope.
Yeah. They got caught with something else, like yesterday too. Some
And
other
she
AI.
doesn't have to
Sure.
respond to this. Like
No,
there's
of course
no
not.
No.
Dude, we're at almost a month now. We're at 26 or 27 days or something where she hasn't taken a single press conference. She hasn't taken any off script
We,
questions.
Yeah.
we are in
None.
1984.
They just overthrew. It's like worth saying again. They just overthrew the sitting president of the United States and said that he is he's not mentally well enough to run for president. You know what I mean? And no explanation.
Yeah.
Zero explanation for that. How is he still president of the United States? Why are we all totally okay with that? Why did you go to that guy's house today and just overnight now he's a Kamala Harris supporter? How is that possible? Like, what type of person? Who is that?
Right.
Who sits down at night and turns their TV on and is like, "That's who I am now." Like, you have no personal opinions at all. Have we lost our ability to have like desires? Like, do people not desire a healthy economy? Do we not desire healthy kids? Do
Well-
we not, like, what are we?
Well, what we've built,
we never
we
hit that
specifically,
subject.
that's okay. What we've built specifically, us three, is a society of people who don't yearn for more and also are okay without thinking.
Totally okay
Critically
with it.
thinking is not.
Man, that's one of those uncomfortable human truths too. Is like, are humans actually is our natural state to be ruled? Have you ever heard that like argument?
According to the
Yeah.
Bible, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like our
Yeah.
natural like communism or socialism or some sort of ism where there's like one at the top and then everyone
Yeah.
else just doesn't.
Yeah, I
have to make
mean,
decisions, like,
I mean, there's also a natural state of community and tribe,
Well,
Yeah.
what it
right?
what
But
boils
there's
down
always
But
a
you
to-
have
tribal leader.
leader and
Right,
like,
yeah, of
what it
course.
boils
that
down
dude's
to
probably never been
always
straight.
is people don't like discomfort. And that's the hardest thing. And we talked about this. This is why the revolution was able to happen. because people were just uncomfortable already.
Okay.
They didn't have supermarkets. They had to shut. They had to
Important thing
shoot
on
their
that.
own food.
Yeah.
Important thing on the revolution too. The revolution was a civil war that had outside influence.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
we've
yeah,
really lost what
no,
that was.
yeah.
And it's not to say that there wasn't like British regular army. Like we were fighting a British regular army.
It's very similar to.
But the conflict was an internal one.
It's very similar to if DC sent troops to California.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
a very
it was
similar
like-
thing. Like
Yeah. It is.
the distance is a little bit further from DC to.
Well, I don't mean
Britain,
like
but-
it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a civil war between us as the colonies and Britain as like the ruler. I mean like the fight was the splitting of America.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there was people that wanted to stay under the crown.
Of
There was
course,
people
yeah.
that wanted to
There
create
were
a country.
still crown sympathizers.
Yeah,
They were there.
so it was
they
America.
stuck
It was
around.
colonists hanging other colonists in order to create the world that they
They,
wanted.
they say about only 10% of the colonists
Yeah,
actually participated.
3%er,
Right.
Which I've also seen 10%. 3% seems a little low, but
Yeah.
It's,
It was a.
it's
it,
somewhere between.
it was a
Don't
small
join the
percentage.
3%ers,
It was
that's
just
a good way
small percentage of humans that were just trying to like regain
that's
their
what-
freedom.
I mean, that's with everything,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Like look at any major, look at golf.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods is like one of the. It's just his entire story is super interesting to me. But like Tiger Woods comes into golf, completely revolutionizes the sport. He takes the biggest payday that those guys would get maybe once a year. They might be able to fight for $1 million.
Right.
Those dudes clean up $17 to $30 million every single weekend through what you've got the PGA and now live golf or whatever. Like,
Live, laugh, love.
and it
golf.
was one dude. One dude came along and was like, "Hey, golf's cool."
Yeah, golf's fucking.
And
cool.
now it's a billion-dollar industry. When
Yeah.
before it was just something that guys did, and there were
Yeah.
tournaments, and
Yeah.
like some
It's true.
people put it on TV, but no one gave a shit. And like,
Yep.
your power, your personal responsibility can change the fucking world.
It truly can.
Like,
yeah.
It really can. Yeah. Taking what you believe in as an individual and dedicating your entire life to something will absolutely change it, even if you don't think it's happening. You know what I mean? You may not see it happening around you, but it happens, dude. It's that ripple effect that
But
just slowly
You know what
bleeds
Tiger did
into
the whole time? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Tiger wasn't at home like, I'm gonna change golf.
No.
He was like, I'm
He's
gonna
like-
swing this club a little bit better today.
Yeah.
All he did was personal development day after day
That's
after
it.
day. And he created an entire industry for a million other people. Look
Yeah.
at who plays golf now. Look at the amount of minorities that are in golf now. The biggest names are
Yeah.
from
They
all
are.
over the world. It's unfathomable what one person can do.
When
Right.
I was a kid, I would have never heard somebody say golf is cool.
Right.
And
No.
now, like, there's
No, there's
18-year-olds playing golf.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of kids playing
Yeah.
golf, like teenagers.
It's-
Like, yeah,
yeah.
it's absolutely 100% cool to play golf now.
Yeah,
Being
golf
a
is
good
sick.
golfer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be the thing for old dudes.
Same with
Yeah.
skateboarding, right? You had some bigger names that kind of pushed the ball, but
Yeah.
ultimately Tony Hawk comes along.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
and
you've
now
got-
it's an entire generation of people. Like,
and
how many
we
people here own a skateboard?
and that's why we inherently do need to be led in a sense, and we do need leaders in our industry
Mhm.
to an extent,
To an extent.
right?
And not
Where we
holding
talk, where we're
companies.
talking about like even influencers. There are influencers
That's a good
like
segue, thank you.
age, right? So going into like YouTube, gun tubers, whatever you want to fucking call them, these guys like come in, and it was, you had guys like Hickok, right? Hickok
Legend.
45,
Yeah.
like a legend,
Paul Harrell.
right?
Yeah.
Paul
It's
Harrell.
not necessarily pushing anything though.
They
No.
yeah,
He was creating.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
he was just creating stuff, kind of he definitely opened the door. You got to pay homage to
Right.
that.
Oh, yeah.
But it was still, even when he was doing it, there was like nothing really happening.
Hey,
And
it's
then
just
it
shooting guns.
Right. But then a guy, but then a dude like Matt Carricker came in,
Yeah.
right, with Demo Ranch and was like, I'm going to take guns and blow everything up that I possibly can. I'm just going to shoot fucking everything. And you
Yeah.
guys don't know what it's going to be. It might be a truck. It might be a fucking refrigerator.
We really
and I'm just
gotta
going to
shout
shoot
out
shit.
FPS Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and FPS Russia. That type of
FPS
shit.
Russia was
These-
the first one, and the government was like, "Fuck you personally."
Yeah.
But-
Bought some hemp, got fucked.
yeah.
But guys were doing it, and they were doing it on video, but then one or two guys come around
Right.
and they actually kind of open the door to everybody else, because like once you have the audience, then
Bakken
the
was one of
creators
them.
come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bakken was one of them.
Which
He
is
was
like
absolutely
what drives my
100%.
frustration with
I
him. It's like,
know.
you did such a good thing.
He
Yeah.
did,
You
yeah.
did such a good thing. You created this massive movement of civilians that want to train, that want to buy body armor. Tacticon could not exist without Lucas Bakken having like kind of paved a market for it, you know?
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
What you were doing was so good, and then you just turned around and yelled at everyone
Just
behind
shat all
you.
over it, yeah.
What's the fucking point of that?
Right. And
Yeah.
it's
God damn it! I'm so sorry.
No, but
no, it's okay because
I
it's,
drag
we're
us
talking
back
about.
into
We're not talking bad about
no.
him. What we're
he
saying is
deserves so much credit. So much
there
credit.
is a lot of fucking credit, man.
It's-
The dude paved the way for a lot of fucking people and said, "Hey, I'm not just going to be a creator, but I'm also going to create." And he started making fucking holsters.
and
and
it's-
like, what a great
they-
thing! And that was an inspiration for me to do it.
Same with Mike. You know, he started creating all those cinematic intros because before it was Hickok, right?
Yeah.
It was that shit. And then Mike was like, let's make this fucking cinematic.
He's talking about
Yeah.
Grantham.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
have you seen the interview? I think it's on. It might be on Vortex. I've only seen like 1 or 2 interviews where he sat down kind of long form. But he said like when he started it, the guys in his unit
yeah, I
were like
watched this.
were making fun of him,
Yeah.
and they were like, "What are you doing?" And he was like,
Yeah,
"I'm making a video today on how to pack your bag."
Yeah.
And they were like, "That's stupid. Everyone knows how to do that." And he was like, "I don't think they do."
No.
I don't think they
You know?
do. Yeah,
And he's totally right.
it's so true.
When
yeah.
you're in that environment, you don't. I don't think about like.
I
setting your
watched that
body
when I
in
was
your
like
body.
17.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. Oh my god, it makes so much sense. But like, if you don't know what you don't know, and that information that he puts out on his channel now about how to hide from thermals, how to defeat drones,
yeah.
that is
unparalleled.
legitimate life-saving information being put out on the internet. And,
That's
like, dude,
civilian
we are
defense
headed we're headed in a dark road. Like we're headed down a dark road.
yeah,
The stuff that he's putting out on his channel is like you should
you should
Yeah.
watch him.
Well,
watch Tacticon Armament first. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's paving. There was that initial push, and it paves the way to these creators. And I it's a good segue to like the advertisements and Shilling.
Mhm.
Shilling is what's the word I'm looking for? Dishonest, right?
Shilling is what the federal government did for vaccines.
Right. So the definition of shilling, I'll pop it up, but it's essentially dishonest, right?
Mm.
Is taking something that you know is garbage and pawning it off to people,
Right.
saying, this is good, Ponzi scheme shit. And I think it just gets thrown around a lot, just kind of like liberal does.
Yeah.
And it's like, you'll call people shills for like SDI, right? Personally, don't like SDI.
No.
Not my thing.
Neither do I.
But
Hey, and shout out to Deskpop for making that fucking video. Did you see Deskpop's video?
on SDI,
Yeah, did you see it?
no, but I
You,
need to.
dude, you need to fucking watch that
Joe
video.
made a good video. Okay.
I-
No,
I
they
think
made
it's
a full
banger.
video, a banger video on SDI where he's just like, literally, the thumbnail is SDI a scam? And then the entire video was, yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it wasn't mincing words. It was like literally like everybody we know that's taking it says it's a fucking scam.
I
It's
took
a
it.
$20,000
I took
horseshit.
it.
You did? You
Yeah,
did
yeah.
SDI?
I did it, and you know the guy you
Did
you guys
they
met in
take
Vegas?
a fucking GI Bill from you?
You know Juice that you met in Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did it too. And we both got about halfway through it, and we're like,
What the fuck is
"This
this?
is fucking." Because once you figure out how gunsmithing works,
Yeah.
SDI is not helping you.
And they were like, they tried to teach you like
So-
ballistics in the program.
But does that mean that I can't watch Grand Thumb videos anymore, where he teaches me how to hide from thermals because he encouraged me to sign up for SDI?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
What was wrong? You know,
So-
what was wrong with that?
so
Yeah,
I haven't seen the video yet.
But Grand Thumb
question,
pulled, I think he doesn't do SDI anymore. So
do you get a gunsmithing certificate?
You do, and I haven't watched their full video, and they probably have a better breakdown than me. But the problem with it is that the process for gunsmithing, you go through SDI, and it puts you at the same place that you would have been had you not gone to SDI.
Right.
You're still going to have to go find a gunsmith, and you're going to have to apprentice under that gunsmith
Oh shit.
for
Okay.
a period of time.
Really?
When you start getting into the weeds of the gunsmithing stuff, like it's not building your AR or swapping parts on your Glock. Like it's legitimate, like metal moving and turning the barrels and like chemical treating. And like the SDI gives you a lot of information, but not more or different than you would get as an apprentice. And
Just
you're
as an
gonna
apprentice.
have to be an
Do that
apprentice.
anyways. Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's kinda
the,
like going to a
the
welding
moral
program.
of their entire video was if you want to be a gunsmith, go
Just
up,
go be a gunsmith.
go to Aero Precision and say, I'd like a job, please, sweeping your floor at first.
I've got
Whatever
no
I can
defense for
do.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
There's
Like I'd just like to do something here.
Be a gunsmith.
You will
Sign up on 2A Pro.
Yeah. You want to sign up pro course. You don't need us.
But regardless of that, like still with that, people associate these creators, and we're in a very interesting space in the YouTube sphere, the online sphere.
Yeah.
Cable is dying. TV shows suck nowadays. When was the last time you saw a good TV show?
When's the last time you sat down and were like, man, I'm so excited. Friday night at 8. Was it 10 years ago?
Right.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is when people still watched cable, when they watched television like that, it's very similar to like when a YouTube video has a prepaid ad that YouTube runs.
Yeah.
You're not mad at the creator that ad runs,
Right.
but you're mad at the creator for doing an ad read
And the only ones that are doing ad reads are the ones that aren't allowed
to run ads. Or
That's what I'm saying.
Or like
they
us.
demonetize their content.
Yeah.
So in order to get paid, they
Right.
have to do the in
Or
video.
if it is monetized, it could be partially, which means they're getting less money, or they're in our industry, which gets one of the lowest CPMs there is, which is basically how much money you get per 1,000 views.
Yeah.
And so the people that are getting mad that these creators are taking ad money to read an ad are the same people that are pushing the creators to leave their jobs and continue making content for them to consume.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you're getting mad that you fell for a advertisement that paid them $10,000 so they
not
could
even-
survive.
God, it's not even that like you fell for it. You just have some fucking you saw some thread on Reddit about how O-lights explode.
Yeah.
And then you start watching a YouTube video and someone is like, O-lights. And you're like, oh, and
Yeah.
you still watch the video.
Yeah.
Now you're just in the comment section.
Yeah.
I guarantee you more
Join to a pro and sell a higher quality light.
Yeah.
I
There you go.
guarantee
Be a
you
part of the change.
I guarantee you
I'm gonna push.
there
Twitter
are
into this
less
hole.
exploding O-lights than people are talking about, dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
It happens once.
I don't know anything about O-light,
Yeah.
but I did see a thing.
Not to
where,
mention like Reddit fucking sucks.
Also that.
Yeah.
it's a very
Don't-
close
Dude, it is.
community of strange dudes.
Jesus, dude,
But-
it is the fucking worst. Like I go on there every once in a while just to like,
Every time I make
sometimes
an account,
like
I get
Google
banned.
like leads me there because I've Googled something and it's like, well, the only information is on this Reddit
Well,
thread. Let's
it
see what I
used
can
to-
find.
It
when I
used
get
to
in there.
be the better, like it used to be before ChatGPT came around.
Yeah.
You would
Okay.
type in
Yes.
a question and then put Reddit at the end
Yes.
of it, and you
Yeah.
would find a fucking thread of people who have gone through the
Dude,
problem
working
that
on
you
a
have.
car,
Yeah.
95 Corolla exhaust pipe, and it would just be
Yeah,
like,
Reddit.
this is exactly how it comes off. Like,
Yeah.
Somebody gives you a fucking dissertation on how to break
Yeah.
it down, but now it's no,
now
it's
all those people are moderators.
But what you see is people who don't know anything, and I'm not trying to call them stupid. That's not what I'm saying. But people who either have no experience, don't know anything, or just are making stuff up.
Yeah.
And they'll just say shit to say shit
People
because
would
there's
make
no
things up to be
consequences.
important.
Yeah. And so like it circles back to this creator thing, and is you don't know them, right? It's the same thing as like celebrities, right? Celebrities play pretend all day. Most creators are more genuine than that. I'm not like saying they are like Hollywood stars that
Yeah.
are just vapid and soulless, but
They're real humans.
they're
though.
real humans.
Yeah.
But you're also putting them in this position where it's like, you don't have to believe everything they say. They are human.
Just because they have a camera and,
Why are they
and a
not allowed?
mouth.
Why are you not allowed to? Why are you not allowed to read an advertisement?
Right.
Grand Thumb didn't make a video where it's like him saying like, "Hey, SDI is one of the most important programs in this country, and you're supporting that school doesn't just support me.
He just
it
said big shout out to SDI
Yeah,
for
it's just like,
supporting
hey,
my
SDI
channel.
pays me 50 grand a video.
Yeah. He said,
Thanks for buying this property for
He-
me to film this stuff.
he
Like,
says
it's-
explicitly, thank you to our sponsors.
yeah, and then what's his name comes
SDI.
in and is like,
Yeah.
it's like snoring desert, or you know what I mean? Like he like makes fun of the name. every
Sleeping
time.
desert
Yeah,
prostitutes.
just
And
like-
he's just
yeah.
Charlie, he's a fucking savage. I love that guy.
I don't know. Is Grand Thumb getting shit about SDI commercials?
I think he
Probably, yeah.
I don't know how we managed.
he
to
may,
just-
he may have got shit, but I think he pulled the sponsorship. I don't think they sponsor him anymore.
I don't know.
Yep.
I know.
Well,
I know he.
good
le-
then.
I
If
know
he
he left.
did.
it
If he
then.
like had an issue and
Oh, he left him.
Yeah, he left
Okay,
Leviathan.
there it is. Yeah.
And so, like, people are also upset about people being a part of Leviathan. And I get that to a degree, but also Leviathan has pushed for a lot of creators to get a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like these companies, like I know some people who
They
are
act as an
involved.
agent and a representative
Yes.
where the creators might take $1,500. Like they can get $12,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say who it is because obviously it's private information
Right.
that I spoke with them about personally, but I spoke with
I was just
another
about to bring this
large
up. Yeah.
creator where he was like, hey, we just joined Leviathan. And I was like, fucking really? And he was like, no, man,
Yeah.
like this is a good thing. And I was like, how? Don't they take like all your money? He was like, no, man. He's like, they only take, maybe like 10, 15%, whatever it is. But I'd rather give them 10 to 15% of 12 grand than get 100% of 2 grand.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I never thought about it like
Because-
that. And he was like, they bring a lot of money into
Yeah.
our channel.
Because
They
they
bring a lot of protection to everyone
Yeah.
out of them too.
they're able to kind of stand in the way of these advertisers, where the advertisers would go to a channel, someone on YouTube who makes maybe $100 a video, and they go, I'll give you $1,000 to create 100 ads.
Yeah.
And they're like,
oh my God.
I
Yeah.
can pay rent.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
Leviathan steps in and goes, you'll pay him $10,000.
Yep.
And then they look at the creator and they go, you'll give me $1,000.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what a good agent does.
Right.
It represents their client to make sure that they're being paid a fair wage for what they do.
Right.
Because they know what the prices are in the industry, and they've negotiated with companies before, and they will negotiate on your behalf.
Right. And
And Leviathan is an agent company. If you guys haven't figured that out yet, it's a company that represents creators, and they go out and specifically in the firearm industry.
Leviathan on this.
It's exposed them in a good way. Yeah.
This is not saying like, this is not in defense of any of this stuff. This isn't saying like this is all virtuous and holy. We're not saying that. We're just giving context to it. If Leviathan fucks up, Leviathan fucks up.
Well,
if they've done shady shit, they've done shady shit. And they should be fucking crucified.
What about Leviathan is like who you're connecting everyone with.
Right.
Because you're connecting everyone with the DoD companies that I intrinsically have an issue with. Like I intrinsically have an issue with EOTech and Daniel Defense and like all these companies. Like it's what led me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Like,
Which
if you're making ads for EOTech and you have no idea what their intentions are with their products, and they are going to continue supplying the military, who is probably going to come back and use them when they take all your guns away one day.
It's at least like we should just
face the question. So who owns these fucking companies?
Yes.
Who owns
we
fucking
gotta get
EOTech?
to the point of
Yeah.
why we came.
Yeah,
And that's what.
today.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. We went down this little rabbit hole last night when we were talking about. We were like,
Who owns what?
Who owns EOTech?
Right.
And then we're like, oh, it's a holding company. Well, we thought it was L3, but then
so-
somebody bought EOTech from L3.
Let's go through this rabbit hole.
And then we were like, wait a
Follow me
second.
down on this
Yeah.
magic school
I feel
bus.
like you're
ride.
gonna have to edit this back at the beginning of the because we just had a
You just drop it in there, yeah.
reaction to what we found out yesterday.
Dude.
We
Oh,
haven't-
it's crazy.
We haven't let the audience in on the.
No. It'll be good.
You should already know the answer
It'll
of where
all
we're going
make
with this.
sense.
So.
This is fucking insane.
So-
What you're about to find out about, and snap back, put this in the front of the video. What you're about to,
I'm not gonna
and
do
then cut it.
that. Okay. Oh yeah. I'm just teasing.
What you're about to find out right now about all these major companies that give you and supply you with all of your tactical equipment is fucking insane. It is insane. It is outrageous. And then who really owns these companies?
It's enough to
It's
raise
insane.
questions.
It's enough to blow your mind up, because it blew my mind up. We were all going, when we found out yesterday, we were going, oh,
It's enough.
Oh,
It's enough
yeah.
to make you.
I was
you
telling-
have got to support small independent
Yes.
ammo and small independent tactical gear
Yes.
manufacturers.
Well,
if you're not supporting small,
it is
independent
not
ammo,
just the creator's job to
Fuck.
say, hey, who am I going to be promoting today? But it is the buyer's job, personal
who will I be
responsibility.
supporting today.
Who will I be giving my money to today?
Well, it's interesting too. I was having this conversation with Austin because I was kind of telling those guys about it, and he looked at me and he goes, "Well, what are you supposed to do?" And I was like, well, "That's a good point. You try and buy as small as possible." He goes, "Everybody uses CCI
Knock off
primers."
EOTechs in China.
Everybody,
He goes, "Everybody everybody uses CCI primers." He's like, "Everybody uses these 3 bolt carrier companies."
yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
"How do you get around it?"
The companies we saw that were main AR-15 manufacturers.
Right. So let's
We got to get to what we're
let's,
talking about.
let's get into this. So we were talking, we were having a light conversation about this yesterday about creators and stuff like that. And that brought us into the question of who the fuck owns EOTech? I think you brought that up just a second ago. And we're just like, we don't know who owns it. Maybe some of you do. Maybe you're like, oh, the CEO is so-and-so, but does he own it?
Right.
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 But like, you don't see a face to EOTech.
No, there's
Maybe
no face.
I saw like
Even
a
the
kind of
church
redheaded guy. He was starting to do some social media for it, but like,
Well, EOTech, I actually know the guys that I don't know if they run like 100% of it, but like Chase Welch does a ton of their stuff, and like everyone that Chase Welch is associated with, and Recom Actual, all those guys, solid stud humans, exact same train of thought as us, like same bloodline.
That's
Like,
great.
I have no beef with people
That's
that are
great.
associated with EOTech.
No.
Yeah, no. It's
I
not-
have a
that's-
beef with who fucking owns.
who's pulling
Yeah.
the strings.
if you're working at EOTech or you're EOTech adjacent or any one of these company adjacent, this isn't squabble with you. This is squabble with who owns you.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the traceability that we have.
Yeah. So first, that we went through just EOTech alone, and EOTech was owned by L3 Harris for quite some time. I'll put up the full dates here.
Right.
was
They
on-
bought them back in like 2003, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that sounds right.
And L3, as we know, creates almost all of the night vision on the market.
Mhm.
they then sold EOTech to American Hall Optic or Holoptic.
Holoped.
I hate its name so much. We went down this rabbit hole a while
A
ago.
while ago, yep.
But it turns then out that EOTech was then sold from American Hall Optic to a company called Kukar Management. And I said, what?
Prestige worldwide.
Right.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
exactly.
I'll pull up the page here. Kukar Management is, it's mergers and acquisitions.
Oh, are they looking at the website right
Yeah,
now?
I'm sure.
Look at that.
How real is this company?
And
Wait,
so
pictures of skyscrapers?
yeah, and so what's interesting is
Click on the About Me.
there's
That's
two
the
people.
best part.
that run this company.
Yeah.
So there's these two individuals bought EOTech,
Yeah.
a very large DoD optics contractor, and then you look into who owns that, but it's a privately traded private equity company.
Yeah.
And then you look into all the other companies that it owns, and they look like weird shell
I
companies.
am laughing so hard right now because it is so fucking insane. Just keep going
So
because it's crazy how disconnected we are about who really owns the stuff that is supplying
Has he?
us with our own tactical equipment.
We are dragging out getting to our point.
Doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Hardcore.
I know we are.
Have you had a catch up with him today
Nope.
since he spent all night on it?
Nope.
No.
Oh, dude, it's so much worse than
It's
we
so
thought
bad.
yesterday.
Is it really?
It's so bad.
Oh, yeah, dude. You're not getting ammo. You're not getting nothing.
Jesus Christ.
So-
Okay.
So it's important. We went from there, and I'll just give you this right now. It'll give you a little prelim. Do you know who owns L3 Harris?
No.
So L3 Harris is a publicly traded company.
Okay.
And
And there's your downfall.
its major shareholders
Yeah, that's
are
what it is. Okay. Oh, let me guess. BlackRock.
BlackRock, Vanguard with 12, BlackRock with 7.3,
and you're going to see a very similar theme across the board.
and
here,
then State Street
20%.
at 4.5.
You see how all those together hit right
Like
20%?
Yeah, 25%. Yep.
Just about 20,
Okay.
25%. So that is a majority share. Excuse me. And for those who don't know why a majority share is important, I will pop it up right here. This is what it allows you to do. And from my memory, what I'm remembering from the ChatGPT breakdown of it, it allows you to make important business decisions. It allows you to essentially push smaller shareholders out of the way that don't share your opinion with the large amount of percentage that you own.
Yeah, because you have a huge impact on the board.
Right.
And the board makes the decisions.
So-
It de facto makes you the owner.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
So, so
you
then
own the shares. You
what
control
a
the company.
hostile takeover is.
Yeah,
Someone
the-
comes along with an investment group and takes 51.
Yes.
yeah. So we then go down the rabbit hole of we said, what's Vista Outdoors?
Well, no, the process of Vista Outdoors was we were trying to figure out who owned like
We tried
like
everybody.
it was like
EOTech,
it was like some optic or some smaller company, and we were like, who owns a smaller
Right.
company? And we were like,
It's
Oh,
just probably
it was-
fucking Vista
it was
Outdoors.
Vista Outdoors owns it,
Right.
and then we were like, well, who owns Vista Outdoors?
Right.
And then
So
like, oh, another publicly traded company.
it's a large publicly traded not a private equity firm. It's a public equity firm essentially. It's a holdings group. That's it.
Was
Yeah.
it L&O? Did L&O?
We'll get to
them?
that, yeah.
Okay.
So Vista Outdoors is a holding group, so it's a bunch of investors that pool their money together,
Yes.
and then they buy up a bunch of different smaller companies because you have a bunch of people investing all their money.
Yep.
And then they reap the benefits from all of these tiny companies that get eaten up.
everything from massive ammunition manufacturers.
So you'll see it
right?
on the screen. I'll keep
Everything
popping it
from massive ammunition manufacturers all
here's
the way
some-
down
yeah,
to
he's got the
like
full-
Uncle
Uncle Mike's.
Uncle Mike's holsters, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was part of it. Yeah.
up. Yeah. So let's go through this a little bit.
It's
Here's some of them. I don't know if this is all of them. This is what ChatGPT gave me. For ammunition, they own Federal, CCI, Spear, Remington, Blazer, Estate Cartridge. Some of the firearms manufacturers that it listed.
like quick off the top of your
The
head.
entire-
name another ammo manufacturer.
And I don't have a
Winchester.
Hornady.
Winchester.
Hornady.
So-
Yeah, right.
That's
Hornady is privately owned, by the way. It's
Yes.
family owned.
Yes.
Good for Hornady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with
Hornady
Beretta.
critical.
But
defense.
Hornady also only has like 9% of the ammunition market
Yeah.
share.
So then going on firearms, it lists Savage, Stevens, part of Ruger. They own Camelback, Bushnell, Primos, Blackhawk, Plano, Nature Valley, Target, or Shooting Targets, Shooting Range Solution, Hops, RCBS, Lee Precision, and the list goes on.
And this is just one. It's just one of the ones that we found.
And well,
It's
Now,
appalling.
So they own basically the majority of all the tactical equipment and ammunition and firearm companies that you buy from. But who owns Vista Outdoors?
take a wild
Yeah.
guess.
Can I do this one?
It's
Sure.
3
Do
names.
it.
Well, 15.47% of Vista Outdoors are owned by, you guessed it, fucking BlackRock.
BlackRock.
10% of Vista Outdoors is owned by the Gates. The Gates.
So that's not
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
It's not Bill
I
Gates,
looked it up.
okay.
It's not, but it's a dude named Jeff Gates. I still haven't found a correlation yet,
Okay.
but it's weird.
It's.
Okay.
I'm willing to say.
I don't trust
It's not
anybody with
good.
that amount of money.
I don't
Just
trust any
not-
of that name anymore.
Vanguard, if we're rounding up, Vanguard owns roughly 9% of Vista Outdoors.
So how much does BlackRock own again?
16 and 9. So we're talking about
It's
25%
share.
Right at that 25
Right at 20.
across the board. Every time we're going to
Almost
bring
every
up
time.
BlackRock,
All right.
Vanguard, and State
Yeah,
Street, the
let's
three
keep going.
combined almost
So-
always hit a right
so-
at 25.
So we continue down this path. I'm
Okay.
like, okay, all of these companies, and Jake sent this to me yesterday. Apparently BlackRock, or sorry, Vista Outdoors owns about 60% of the market share of ammunition, correct?
Yes, because Vista Outdoors owns
Let's take-
subsidiaries like Federal Premium Ammunition, CCI Spear, and
we just
Remington,
talked about.
Remington Ammunition.
And so
yes.
now let's go off of that real quick. Almost everybody uses CCI primers.
Yeah.
So that means you're catching the drift here. So I sat down and I was like, who the fuck else is involved in this debauchery?
Well, what other ammunition? Who else has a significant ammunition market share? And it's Olin, by the way. But
Yep.
keep going.
And
And those are all. And Olin is owned by
right.
But let's
the
start. let's
Olin
start-
Corporation. Primarily operates in the Winchester brand.
Right. So
All right.
so there's another large market share, which is AAC.
Right.
AAC is owned by Palmetto.
Right.
Palmetto is
Is owned
owned by
by-
JJE Capital Holdings. That is a private equity firm. A private equity firm means I can't see who their investors are because it's private.
But guess who ChatGPT thinks they are?
So I asked ChatGPT 4.0, I said, hey, just curious, is there any correlation between BlackRock and Vanguard with JJE Holdings Company? And they said, while it is a private equity firm, we cannot say necessarily because their transactions and their investments are private. It is more than likely that there are high stakes shareholders like BlackRock, Vanguard. So that is not
Yeah.
confirmed.
We
but-
can't confirm Palmetto, but when you look at everyone else,
but
Dude.
another
not a good
private
sign.
holdings firm. So this is where we're getting to here. So we have EOTech, which is bought by a private holdings company. You have JJE, who holds Palmetto, AAC, Right to Bear, XYZ, Soviet Arms, all these different things.
Right. Seemingly Second Amendment companies.
right? It's Palmetto.
It's fucking Palmetto.
It's
And I like
Palmetto.
to believe they are.
yeah.
I
Yes.
like to believe they
But
are.
when you're owned by a private equity firm who makes your decisions for you, both legally
It could-
and
Dude.
It could turn something sour real quick.
Wait until we get into
Could.
when all of these companies started getting bought by these places.
So I started going, what else? Smith & Wesson, publicly traded. Guess who owns the majority share?
BlackRock.
BlackRock at about 9. Vanguard is about 7.9.
Fuck,
and
dude.
then somebody called Colton Melby
yeah, there was
is 8.5.
That is fucking terrifying.
And Barclays PLC is the largest at 17%.
Dude, I mean, it got to a point that like, did we find anyone that wasn't?
So then I was like, okay, what other things? So we looked into Sig Sauer. Sig Sauer is owned by L&O Holdings, another private equity firm that it's a German private equity firm that has their headquarters in London, apparently.
Yeah.
Business weirds me out. I don't like it. That stuff makes me feel weird. Like if I was like a California business, I don't know if I would have my like headquarters in like,
Bangkok.
yeah, maybe, who knows?
You could bang enough cock here in California.
You could bang enough cock here. So L&O Holdings, I couldn't track their shit because private equity. But then I thought, what's another German manufacturer? Anybody take a guess? Another German manufacturer?
Austrian.
Heckler and Koch.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because if we
I was
went
so
if
excited
we
to
went
take
Austrian, which
Yeah.
Austria, Germany, tomato.
Same.
Yeah.
Yes, we can go Glock, right?
So I
Somewhere in the
Like,
line,
yeah.
Right.
a bunch of people that were like,
no.
right. So I looked it up. I said, who owns H&K? Heckler and Koch was,
Cock.
as of 2018, was sold to a company. I can't pronounce it because it's French, but it's it's essentially
Les-
campaign the development le CD.
Les compétents.
So I was like, that's interesting. A French company owns H&K. And so I said, who owns blah, blah, blah. And it says a
Does that-
French. Hold on.
Hold on. All right.
No, you want to go?
We are owned by a croissant. I wanted to completely derail the conversation.
Let me finish this
Okay.
and then derail it. Lock it in. Lock
we
it in.
found so much evidence and we have spent like an hour just.
Lock it in.
All right.
All right. Lock it. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So a French company specializing in water treatment and distribution, that's that company, is a subsidiary of the Suez Group.
Okay.
Suez is a multinational corporation with a focus on water and waste management services. So a waste management company owns a subsidiary company of water treatment, which owns H&K. So I tried to just look up
Yes.
who owns the largest shares in the previous company campaign. Blah, blah, blah. It said it's a subsidiary of Suez. So it'd be Suez. I said, who owns Suez Group? Suez Group is owned by Veolia Environment, a global leader in optimized resource management.
What does that mean?
Jeez.
What is optimized resource management?
That's some Nestle shit saying
That's some
water isn't for
population
everyone.
control,
Yeah.
man.
And so then I said, who owns Veolia Environment? It's a publicly traded company. Yes.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So
who are the shareholders?
Can you guess? Dude, it's across the board.
So BlackRock's the primary shareholder,
no,
shareholder
it's
for that.
listed as number 3. And I'll post the whole thing here so you can see it. But
Jesus Christ.
it's
But
in-
if you, I mean, it's just, you're in
So-
bed.
But so before you jump off to that derail real quick, let's look at this. We brought up the idea that EOTech, with this weird company and all their strange shell company, like, why would, maybe it is just 2 dudes with a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Hold up. Why are there 4 companies involved in like waste management that bought Heckler and Koch?
Why is there so many waste management different branches
Right.
of company? How difficult is it to
And
take the trash
So
out?
I would like to point out,
Unless you need a place to put the bodies.
I would like to point out this thing one more time. I will show you, I will run through them as I'm talking here. Each one of these websites for these companies that are involved with all these different mergers and acquisitions and
man.
private equity have almost the identical website layout.
Oh my
We
God,
went
they do.
through
we
it.
were so excited.
They're all
yesterday.
WordPress sites. They all have the same plugins.
Like the same, like very
should
similar
do-
themes, the same plugins,
And-
WP Bakery
Just like a
plugins.
montage of the screenshots.
Right.
Just like-
They were
And
just,
we've already gone through it before with cat tourniquets.
Yep.
They're not made by North American Research. They're made by Combat Tourniquet Solutions, which is owned by Rebuild Manufacturing, which is another private equity holdings company. Well,
Yep.
It might be publicly traded. I'll look into it and I'll
Oh,
put it
man,
up.
yeah.
Here.
How did we not?
How did we miss that one?
Man, we got
what is the
sidetracked
name
yesterday.
of the company?
Rebuild Manufacturing.
All right, keep going.
So okay, now we know H&K is partially controlled by BlackRock. It goes on. Sturm Ruger, publicly traded company. Guess who owns
Yeah,
the
they're
majority
bad, dude.
shares of Sturm Ruger? BlackRock,
Jesus.
Vanguard, State Street.
Do they have the percentages?
No, it didn't give me the percentage on that. So I said, there's got to be a bastion of hope in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And there is. It's called Beretta and Mossberg. They're family-owned companies,
Hmm.
and they're privately owned.
Wow.
Go buy a Beretta. Go buy a
Damn.
Mossberg.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I said,
We've
maybe
got one.
Glock,
Holding
right?
out
Because
to him.
Gaston Glock,
Yeah,
he just died recently.
yeah, right.
Gaston Glock, in 1985, when he was coming into the United States, transferred 50% ownership of Glock Incorporated to an unknown entity as per court filings. We don't know who that is. I tried looking into it. We don't know. But 50% of his company.
I just personally want to believe that Glock is good to go.
I want to believe it too.
I just want to.
It could just be like it could just be his fucking wife.
I want to ignore
right?
the fact that
Who knows?
Catstone grew up during Nazi Germany. We're gonna leave that alone.
We're gonna push that. aside.
Mercedes are really cool cars. Like,
So then,
you know,
So 60% of the like all of the ammunition in the United States is basically owned by Vista Outdoors in some capacity, who's then publicly traded. We've established that. Now there's another like 20% of the ammunition in the United States that is Winchester ammunition, that is produced by Winchester Ammunition, who is owned by Olin Corporation.
Right.
And Olin Corporation is a publicly traded company, of which 10% is owned by BlackRock and 10% is owned by Vanguard.
right? Magical
Another
20%.
that magical 20%.
And that's the thing that kills me about it, is that it's not just like, it's such a coordinated effort. Like they're trying to hit the same number every single time.
Every
They
time.
have a model and they're just applying it over and over and over again. They have a model for the website and they're
Right.
applying it over and
so
over again.
so this website, I know it seems like, why the fuck are you talking about this website? Here's where it comes into play. I tried to look at Daniel Defense. Daniel Defense, I was like, are they publicly traded? I don't think they are. I don't know if I googled it, but
no, they're not. They're privately owned.
they're privately owned.
Yeah, they're privately owned.
But Marty Daniels
Yep.
stepped down as the CEO of his company to let this guy Rob Reeson in. I looked him up. He on his LinkedIn, it just shows Daniel Defense.
Yeah.
Doesn't like
His
show like
interest.
previous things. His interests were Raytheon and Northrop Grumman. And I was like, where the fuck did this guy come from?
Right.
So I Google him.
Well, did you mention what Marty Daniels' interests were on his LinkedIn?
Did I look
Also,
at it? Oh,
you
yeah,
did.
They
They
Northrop
both
Grumman.
had the same interests. So the CEO, the new CEO,
Which, to
has,
be fair, they're
Makes
defense
sense.
contractors.
Yeah, it makes sense.
they both just happen to have their only two interests on LinkedIn, or the exact two interests
It
on
makes
LinkedIn.
sense as Daniel Defense.
Right.
It's just also why I have an issue with Daniel Defense.
So-
I thought that was kind of interesting. That
So then I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? He's worked for like M25, Snoobuck. I can't remember if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Random
And
shell companies.
just another thing. And I'm like, okay, I Google all of them. They all have the same website layout again. And
Yeah.
one of them is a Indiana e-commerce building site that says it's put over $56 billion into the Indiana e-commerce space.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Perhaps it's real.
Mergers and
Perhaps I'm going too much on the fucking conspiracy theory side, but it's just weird to me that all these websites have the same exact layout.
Listen,
don't think
if
we're going
any of-
anywhere near
if-
deep
if-
enough.
Okay, so if any of you guys have ever seen Step Brothers, which I'm sure all of you have out in the audience, they come up with this company called Prestige Worldwide. Prestige Worldwide. And it's nothing.
It doesn't do
anything. It's
Just
just
exists.
it's just a thing. And they were like, well, what do you do? And they're like, do you remember what he says in the
No.
I think what it boils down to is boats and hoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
boats.
oats and hoes.
Boats and
Yeah.
hoes. Right. And that's really like just the fundamental of what it was. It's nothing. It sounds good. And
Also,
there's this, well, we do stuff and we're
Yeah.
mergers and acquisitions.
acquisition.
There's
we're-
multi-billion-dollar
we're
companies that have one,
consulting.
2, 3 employees.
Yeah.
It's just clearly nonsense.
There's buzzwords that get thrown around in every
Yeah.
single one of these holdings firms.
And I would like to remind you guys that Elon was able to fire 60% of the Twitter staff
Yes.
and
No
still
one noticed.
and no one noticed. Nothing happened.
Not only did he do that,
There
but
was-
he also eliminated like a huge chunk. I forget the percentage, but everything is how many?
86%.
86% of the servers that were just like, why did they even have these?
Right.
Like they get rid of them. We
Right.
don't need them.
And so
He
what
got-
my point for bringing that up is there's a lot of people at a lot of jobs that don't do anything. They have meetings and they have memos and then they go to their meetings and then they have another memo
We'll have to circle back around on that, Bob.
and then they write up
They make 500
they write
a
up
year.
project plans and that's it. They don't do anything.
Oh, I want to be a
Yeah.
fucking project manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys get that stuff done yet? Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Good. We're gonna circle back around on this next week, Bob.
Yep.
So
TPS reports.
TPS. You got those TPS
You got
reports?
that cover sheet for your.
So then let's dive in. If BlackRock Vanguard is heavily invested, and State Street, they're heavily invested in the civilian aspect, I'm sure they're probably, invested somewhere else. Guess who owns the majority shares in Raytheon?
No.
I know it's a shocker.
No.
It's just a shocker.
Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street.
State Street is the one that stresses me out because they're only in some and they're quiet.
And this
much
will
quieter.
this will explain. We'll get into this a little bit more, but this is going to explain to you why we hate defense contractors so much. We'll get into that. Guess who owns a majority share in Northrop Grumman? Take a wild guess.
I'm just gonna guess.
It's the big three.
Yep, there it is.
Guess who owns a majority share in Lockheed Martin?
Shocker.
You're fucking kidding me. BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard.
Boom.
Again.
Guess who owns the majority share in Oshkosh?
So in Oshkosh, who, by the way, if you guys don't know this, they make fucking tanks.
Macros, tanks, and
Yeah, like,
fucking fire engines.
I've got
Yeah.
more. I've got more. Guess who owns the majority share in Boeing?
holy shit.
Shocker. It's a total shocker.
Yeah.
It's a total
So
shocker.
then
Which
we were
also
sitting
would
together
mean
on
that
this
they
one.
have
So you
access
own
to, like-
planes, trains, and automobiles,
Yeah.
and
Every-
you own the entire defense industry, and you own the entire civilian
It's so
almost
much, it's
defense
so much
industry.
worse. It's so much worse.
So then
It's so much worse.
because he looked at me, he goes,
So
they
much
own
worse.
all the fucking planes. He's like, I wonder if they own civilian. So I said,
Yeah.
who owns the largest investments in Cessna?
Shocker.
The big fucking three.
Yeah.
What about Lear?
I didn't check
Oh,
Lear.
Lear would have been good.
So
'Cause doesn't Lear make the G's, like the G4 and the
Those are
G6?
Yeah, Lear
So
jets.
fly like a G6.
yeah.
I'll be absolutely mouth on the floor shocked if it's not the big three, though.
So here's for Cessna. It says Cessna Aircraft Company is known for its general aviation aircraft subsidiary of Textron Inc.
Yeah.
What does Textron make? Textron owns Cessna, Beechcraft, Hawker, Bell, Textron System, Armadillo Aerospace, Textron Specialized Vehicles, QTEX, and Textron Financial. And then I said,
Many government contracts.
who owns the largest share in that?
Wow.
Big three.
Who? And then I was like, okay, well that's planes, trains. What about automobiles? Who owns the largest share in Ford Motor Company?
Ford. America. Ford.
No.
Big
Yeah.
three.
Wow.
Yeah. Now let's start talking about private farms,
Let's talk about food.
grocery stores, distribution, shipping.
Do you guys know who owns the largest, like one of the larger shares of farms in the U.S.? From what I got, it's still about 60%
Of the farms?
is privately owned.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That's ignoring
I'll
like
put in
heavy
here.
corporate, like you own your farm, but Cargill, Tyson, whatever, they supply the feed, they supply
Got
the
it,
chickens,
yeah.
they
Right.
supply
So it can still be heavily influenced by outside investors. It's Monsanto. Monsanto and Bill Gates own large holdings in farmland. Monsanto, the same people who created the Geneva Convention breaking Agent Orange, the largest three who have shares and investments in Monsanto is BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street.
So they own the fucking farms.
And then I said, oh,
All roads
They own
lead
the
back
farms,
to
dude.
So you own the food and the
own food.
transportation
There's more.
Bullets.
and the defense equipment.
Yeah.
and I said,
It only gets worse.
wait a second.
Yeah.
Who owns
It only gets worse.
Who owns the information?
Fuck.
And I said, Google does. Google owns the information. Let's be realistic. Google owns the information.
Alphabet.
It's 86% of
Alphabet
internet
company,
traffic
yeah.
goes through Google. Yeah. It's probably
Vanguard,
99, but
BlackRock, top two. And then FMR LLC Fidelity.
Damn.
And then let's see here. Disney's entertainment, bread and circuses, right?
Yep.
Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street.
Disney is no longer entertainment. Disney is,
a political activist group.
yes.
What about McDonald's? BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. What about Coca-Cola?
Jesus Christ.
Berkshire Hathaway, Warren
Oh.
Buffett's investment firm.
Nice.
Vanguard, BlackRock.
Yep.
What about Walmart? It's still mostly owned by the Waltons,
Yeah. We'll
But-
give that
That's good.
evil family a little due. They haven't
Yeah.
stopped voting in yet.
but
If you don't know about the Waltons, by the way,
they collectively hold a substantial portion of Walmart's shares, making the Walton family the largest shareholders by far. Additionally, institutional investors such as Vanguard and BlackRock also hold significant stakes in Walmart.
so there's distribution.
What
Yep.
about Johnson & Johnson?
Oh, yeah. Medical.
BlackRock,
All
Vanguard, State Street.
the fucking medical equipment that you get.
What about Moderna?
Tubes and tubes.
BlackRock,
God.
Vanguard, Fidelity. What about Pfizer? BlackRock, Vanguard, Berkshire Hathaway.
So they own your health. They
What about
own your-
Merck? BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street.
They can poison you
Fuck.
and then sell you the medicine, and they own everything that.
What about Pepsi?
Yep.
BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street.
Yep.
So they own Pepsi and Coca-Cola. They own majority shares in both companies.
And go to a restaurant.
Who
Those
owns
are your options?
Who owns the
Yeah.
majority shares in Target?
And they
BlackRock,
make
Vanguard, State Street.
Pepsi and Coca-Cola. They have everything from drinks to food to like. I mean, it's just
And they
massive
make
companies.
fucking bottled water. All of your bottled water.
Yeah.
This is the greatest scam ever pulled on
Yeah.
anyone ever. Is bottled water. Well, I mean, like I drink bottled water also, but like,
But yeah,
What about transportation? What about transporting goods from one place to another?
Right.
yeah.
Knight Swift, one of the largest, according to Google, one of the largest trucking companies. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street.
so then we were like, well, what about transportation across the ocean?
JB Hunt, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Who owns the largest shares in Amazon?
No way.
Vanguard, BlackRock.
They control your goods being distributed, your goods being made, your health due to the shitty goods being made that's being put into your body, the transportation for you to get to the hospital, for you to get to a safe place in the event that your government attacks you, and the defense equipment in case somebody attacks you. They could just pull the plug and all of that goes
And-
away.
and
Not
last-
pull the plug, but they can sway and
Last
lead.
year alone, they also bought like 40% of the single family homes off the market. Those 3 investment groups through holding companies.
Yeah.
Because I like last year, that was like my
Because-
You know what's really interesting is they recently started selling. I think they sold like 30 or 40% of their fucking holdings in Florida. Did you see that shit?
yeah.
Florida.
Florida's
They started offloading all of their fucking all of their properties in Florida. Like,
the-
why are you offloading
I
properties
feel like
right
a super important thing to mention about this too is because we're talking about all these shell companies and all these holding companies, and there's all these like investment boards, and like there's lots of people involved in all this somehow. But like when you get to the top of it, there's one dude that
Fink.
makes the shot calls for all 3 of these.
now? Isn't that Fink guy?
He's for BlackRock, but like
Right.
for each one of these investment groups,
Okay.
there's not a board. There's
The dude.
there's a dude.
Who's that
Like
guy?
Warren Buffett, right?
Yeah, right.
he's
For
the
Berkshire
shot
Hathaway.
caller for
Who's the shot caller for
I know
BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street?
I don't know the other two.
Fink
I
is
thought it was Fink.
Fink is for BlackRock.
Okay, got it.
But-
He's the CEO of BlackRock.
You're
But you're
telling
saying for each one of these entities,
Right.
there's one dude calling shots for those
for
entities. I
each
got it.
entity,
Yeah,
right.
for each
So
one,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
these holding companies and all this
Yeah.
weird shell stuff, and then at the top of the hill, it's the fucking 3 of us that own 20% of everything.
But
everything,
then
everything.
let's take it one step fucking further. Monopolies are illegal. But if you have a holdings company that owns it,
Right.
It's not
It's
a
not a
monopoly.
it's not a monopoly.
I
Only
have
20% of it.
I have
And
And that's
AT&T
my
and
best
T-Mobile
friend who owns
because-
another 20% of it.
And even if they owned 100% of it, it doesn't matter because the companies within the holding company are competing against each other. So there's a there's this
It's
there's
an artificial
there's this
market.
it's an illusion of competition.
And
There's an illusion of fair market.
if you own the 3, I have cell phone providers or cable providers, internet providers.
should've
Those are the
looked
ones.
into that too,
Yeah,
yeah.
those are the ones that really bother me a lot
Yeah.
because it's just such a like Comcast has such a monopoly. But like if you have, say you have T-Mobile, Boost, and AT&T underneath your holding company,
Right.
all 3 of those entities have the same shared interest in fucking the customer over and increasing a profit margin for you. So none of those the idea behind capitalism is that because of the free market, me and you are going to shop at the cheaper price point, and that will force companies to be competitive. But
Yeah.
if all of the companies are owned by the same holdings group, there is zero incentive for them to be competitive.
No, there's
they
collusion
will-
all day on prices. That
even if you
price
don't
collusion is like front and center when you talk about
And it's even if you don't have a meeting about it, it will naturally happen that you're all going to just set your prices around the same. Because what's the point?
For Verizon, it says Vanguard and BlackRock are the largest
I'm sure.
investors. And then I'm sure
naturally.
After yesterday,
The-
I just expect.
Yeah,
to
it's
see
like
them
why are we even like
everything.
yeah,
the reason I don't just like keep going down this rabbit hole is because
It's so
I'm
much. It's
assuming
so
at this
much.
point, sue me.
Yep.
It's
It's Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are the top 3 shareholders for Verizon.
so
we
hold
just
on.
started Googling.
Yeah.
Just anything. Like just think of a industry.
So then I
any-
thought to myself, I bet they own Nike. They do. And I was like, what?
Which is
what-
crazy
I was
because Nike's like
"Own they?"
origin story
Right.
is
You know
super
what? You know what's creepy about the shareholders for Verizon?
Huh.
Okay, this right here. Vanguard 8%, BlackRock 8%. Math so far?
Yeah.
16,
Yeah.
right?
4%.
State Street 4%.
right.
So what we're getting at here is
Right.
these guys are working together.
How are they always hitting 20, 22?
They're almost always taking a majority share. And so I was like, well, what about clothing? Because they have the entire defense industry.
Here it goes again for AT&T. Hold on. I just got it. AT&T. Fuck me. 8% Vanguard, 7% BlackRock. Where are we at? 15?
Yeah, sure.
15%?
5% State Street.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. It was
God
blowing
damn.
your mind.
There is no such thing as consequence. I mean, coincidences.
Dude, everybody at home, I
That
want you
too.
to just, every time that you like sit down to take a poop and you're on your phone, I want you to look around in your bathroom and just find a random thing in there and then just like follow the holding companies because BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street.
They own
And
it.
if it ends in a private equity firm, it's probably
them.
BlackRock, Vanguard, State
They
Street.
just got smart at some point and they were like, we should do this quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people started talking about it and they're like, we should
Yeah.
probably just stop.
Hey, the next time we buy out one of these companies with 20%, we'll just do it with a holdings group.
So I was like, Nike was just like a off the wall. I was like, they probably do. I want to confirm it. Confirmed. Then I was like, who is the largest producer of clothes? Do you know? Of clothing.
Fubu.
Gildan.
Gildan?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Guess who owns
Oh,
the
God.
largest shares
Yeah.
in Gildan?
And
Damn.
it's
Vanguard,
so-
BlackRock.
It's so
Fidelity.
painfully obvious when you sit here and start looking through this, it becomes, you know how you're sitting at the house.
Yeah, and it's just
and-
like all the gears click together.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
there's a reality that you know exists, but then you turn the TV on or you see the news and you see like these just crazy ideas being pushed in our society. And it's like, why are all these major brands, all these major companies, all
I
these
should have looked up.
Why is it all the same?
Yeah,
Why is it all? But they all pushing the
why
same
is
agenda.
Coca-Cola pushing transgender stuff? You know, like how is that beneficial for Coca-Cola? Like, what's the incentive?
And then
20%
Pepsi, is PepsiCo also
the
doing it?
incentive
Wouldn't
is
they
because-
take another stance now because they're all owned by the same
Right.
fucking company?
The only incentive for any of these companies to push any of that political narrative is because they're controlled through those three investment groups are
Yeah.
the ones that push
and
the
all their
DEI.
show companies.
Yes, they have DEI requirements that you have to meet to receive their funding. So they push those narratives because if they don't get the money, which is the same thing that happened with law enforcement, education, and fire during COVID. If you want to pay your employees, you're going to make them get vaccinated. And they just got rid of everyone. That would be an issue.
So now
That
let's
happened across the board in every major industry. So there's no actual professionals with real missions doing anything.
Yeah.
Everyone is just kissing ass.
And anybody
trying
who
to
is
get
going
money.
to follow orders is no longer with those
Has been removed
institutions.
because
They've been
you-
removed. Yeah.
What do you need people to follow? Like, what do you don't need creative people.
No,
to
I mean
stick on
anybody
top of these-
anybody that won't follow orders
Yeah,
is
that's
what
what
I
I'm
meant to
saying,
say. That's what I meant to say. Anybody that's like, hey, go kill these American civilians. Those people
Sure.
aren't in the military. They're not in law enforcement anymore. Those are the people that are saying, hey, this is wrong, and
It's
they
how you
got
get
out.
fucking Uvalde.
The order followers,
I'm
are
just
the
gonna
ones-
keep saying it until I'm blue in the
the
face.
order
That's how
followers are the
usually
ones that are
happens.
still there.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
So let's pull this now full circle to why these entities and these government contracts and the contractors are bad. So let's look at this. You have the same
They're the Satanists.
three
Naturally.
the same three companies, essentially, holdings firms, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You have the same three individuals involved in holding so many of these different, they've got their fucking fingers in everything,
Yeah.
right? Their finger is in your pie. And when the
I mean,
world
their
is at
fingers in
war,
mine.
when the world is at war, who benefits?
Defense contractors.
Who makes money? Defense contractors.
Yeah.
Northrop Grumman, all these guys,
Yeah.
right? BlackRock owns all of them. When the world isn't at war, who benefits?
Same people.
Same people.
Yep.
Civilians are also buying stuff.
Right.
When the civilians are freaking out when war is on their doorstep, who is also benefiting?
Yeah. Who benefits the most in like a global catastrophe, like a pandemic, where like all the shipping gets shut down and like
Oh, and the medical
was
goes
just
through the fucking
so
roof, and your
beneficial.
$1 billion fucking vaccine programs that gets funded by the fucking United States government, like to Johnson & Johnson and Moderna, which BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street own.
you telling me that
Yeah.
those dudes didn't have enough power? You know, all those shipping container boats that got stuck off the ports in California and
Yeah.
on the East Coast for like months on end. You're telling me those guys didn't have the power to fix that problem? Bullshit.
They absolutely did.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
That
You're-
was intentional.
You're telling me when the ammo dried up
Yeah.
during the COVID scare,
yeah.
that these guys who own 60% of the ammunition were unable to get it, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden ammo prices skyrocket to a new high that they've never been before, and then
Yeah.
have almost never come down?
No. Yeah.
the next
they've,
time you-
they've recovered somewhat, but they've never been the same.
Yeah. The next
Not
time
even
that you
close.
jump on YouTube and you start yelling at people about being a shill for a fucking company that isn't a DoD contractor,
An individual, mind you.
you need to take a deep breath and realize like if you are I know dudes that help sell EOTech products. I like EOTech products. EOTech is getting a really hard hammer hit this whole time
Yeah.
from us because they're just where we started with
Right.
this whole
Yeah,
thing.
right.
But
I
like,
love your dotted donut.
I love, but if you were pushing EOTech, then you are also pushing the agenda of BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard because the money made by them ultimately goes to Larry Fink and his friends.
Well, we can't officially trace it with them with KUKAR
But it does.
development, but we can say with Vista Outdoors,
Yeah.
with Smith and Wesson, unfortunately, like, you know, all these different companies, and it's like
All of them. Yeah.
And
L3 Harris.
It's the same kind
Anytime
of
you buy night vision,
Yeah.
It's the same kind of problem when you say like we need to completely abolish the FBI, right? There are great people that work inside the FBI.
Right.
There's great people that work for the ATF. There's great people that work inside the Secret Service. But the people that manage it are anti-American dog shit.
Yeah. Which
Like,
is probably the
just
reason why
dog
they
shit.
were fucking cleaning up all the evidence on the rooftop
Right.
that Crooks, the guy that attempted to assassinate
Which-
fucking Trump.
Full circle here. Crooks was in a BlackRock.
commercial. He was in a
And-
BlackRock commercial and had FBI ties.
Yes. Do you know the FBI ties? So because
about it.
private entities can, it's not just the government that can buy your cell phone data, right? Any app on your phone, like you download a weather app, it's also pulling all your same data. Any private person with enough money can buy the data off that phone. Private people bought the data off of Crook's phone and was able to prove that phones associated with his house went to a common location to meet, like where FBI typically meets with informants.
Inside of Washington, D.C.
Weeks
Sorry, inside of
weeks
Washington,
prior.
D.C.
weeks prior to the assassination attempt. So
And
BlackRock is
and then if
deploying him.
that's not evidence enough, then
Or
them pressure
involving
washing the roof, like cleaning evidence, like any investigator in any department anywhere,
would never,
they would like
never
ever pressure wash the
first thing they did. They cleaned the body up, they got the crowd out, and then there was a dude up there with a fire, like a wildland firefighting fire hose, spraying the roof off. Why?
Yeah. Why?
That blood stain should be there for months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's Gil Grissom to come out and like scrape some shit off the like?
100%. Like, were you able to get all the ballistics that came out of the actual bullet that supposedly came out of the Secret Service's agent's gun?
That's
that,
and that's
that
all.
pointed his- like, did you? Were you?
And
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's all out the fucking window now.
dude, what Ryan was saying the other day about some dude ziplining off top of that water tower is crazy.
Yeah.
If that is a provable thing, that's wild.
I have no idea. But what I will say is this. When you cremate a body on such like that
Against
body,
the family's wishes.
I know, you give it to the FBI and you're like, hey, can you cremate this, please? Can you just get rid of all of it?
The FBI comes in and they're like, hey, this dude took a shot at the ex-president of the United States, arguably the most famous person on planet Earth, maybe to ever live.
Let's get rid of the evidence.
We're going to take custody of his body.
Wow, you're right on that.
As
He's
his-
possibly the most famous person in the
Ever.
world. Yeah.
He's the
Possibly,
most
yeah.
famous person alive now, but
Yeah.
like arguably maybe ever. Imagine what Trump could be King Tut.
He's like up there with
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
And this dude, yeah, definitely with Mike Tyson. But this dude takes a shot at him. The FBI comes to you and is like, hey, like, what if your son grows up and does some crazy shit one day? And the FBI comes to you and is like, hey, you know, we're going to take custody of his body. What? You have no way to argue that, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't tell the FBI no. And then the FBI cremates his body.
They're like, by the way, we cremated your son.
Why?
Like, what?
Why?
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 Why would you do that?
It's
Yeah.
it's the things that they want you to believe about the Trump attempted assassination are as insane as the stuff that they wanted you to believe with the JFK assassination.
It was
That
just
the
some
magic
crazy
bullet
guy
just
that got on a
showed up.
fucking roof and nobody stopped him.
Dude, the-
That's like,
The only thing that they were able to link the shooter in the JFK assassination back to that Carcano rifle out of the window was the magic bullet that was just perfectly nothing wrong with the round, never been down the barrel of a gun, laying on a stretcher in the hospital. And then
the 6'5" Grindal.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
the Secret Service agent that was the one that found the bullet
Yeah.
on his deathbed said, I put that there. That was not shot. Like I planted evidence. I was instructed to plant evidence.
And then the nightclub owner, this is going down a rabbit hole,
Dude,
but
watch
why?
watch the Oliver Stone did another documentary about
When are we going to get mad about it?
That's my fucking point.
I'm-
When is everybody going to get mad? We're mad enough. Like, if everybody else got mad, we'd all be really fucking mad and then
Right.
shit would change.
Ants and
Like,
grasshoppers, man.
Yeah.
And it's not a civil war. It's not BLM riots. We don't have to go burn down CVS's. It's
Yeah,
just saying
yes, we
like-
do.
It's saying like, hey,
Yeah.
we're aware of your shit. Like
Like, we need to take away all the creature comforts from American
it's,
citizens.
it's
So they're
social
like,
media.
"Huh."
Social
maybe
media
everything.
is such like a wonderful thing because like, dude, the amount I see it all the time where people comment. I'll put political stuff on my page like this. and people will comment underneath of it like, ugh, that's just too much to believe. Not too much to believe. It's like a bad example.
They don't want to.
They will be like, oh, this is just ridiculous. All you have to do is also post about it. You
That's
know?
it.
If you like my thing,
Yeah.
just screenshot the shit and share it on yours. If there's 100 million people that are all saying the same thing, all of these people in Washington, D.C. and BlackRock and Vanguard, all of them are just going to go with the flow because at the end of the day, they're just empty vessels that want money and power.
It's okay, dude.
We're giving them the money and power. We need to take it back from them
Yeah.
by just saying, no.
If
But
you
I mean,
pour,
it's not like you can't shop.
if you pour concrete inside of your water main, they can't
Yeah.
turn it off.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
And this idea that like conservatives were going to get together and like, we're going to kill a brand like Bud Light. Bud Light let some tranny dude touch a can once at a thing where 300 other people
It's
also
gonna be
touch can. You know what I mean?
Vanguard.
But like this idea that conservatives can band together and take down a company. No, the fuck you can't. They're all owned by BlackRock and State Street and you might kill one tiny little subsidiary over here, but you're not doing anything to the creature.
No.
Like,
Yeah. You got to.
and dude, there's absolutely no way with proven human historical track record. There is absolutely no way that the same company that is involved in feeding you and taking care of your medical, or the company that is involved with making strategic decisions of where troops go and arming them, doesn't have an incentive to make you sick and take us to war.
Anheuser-Busch
It
is
just
owned
is
by
what it
Vanguard
is.
BlackRock.
Van Anheuser-Busch is owned by BlackRock and Vanguard. Go figure. Go figure.
I love how was that?
ChatGPT.
Yep. That's fucking
I
incredible.
thought maybe Warren Buffett. I will say this: in the last 48 hours, I have kind of changed my opinion on Warren Buffett. I kind of like Warren Buffett more. It led me to like look into him more and like.
I know. Dude's just trying to make some fucking money, dude.
He's just.
you know what I mean?
You want fun fact? Warren Buffett right now owns more U.S. Treasury bonds than anyone else, but also more than the United States Treasury. That's that. Warren Buffett,
don't
Warren
understand.
Buffett
a real
is
G
betting,
right there.
he's betting against the American economy so hard that he is the Treasury. That's crazy.
That's
The
so
United
good.
States government has more paper cash that's worthless, and they are leaning that against Warren Buffett. Warren
Sweet.
Buffett's he's just one old man with his finger in the damn.
In the pie.
Don't worry, everybody. I got the bonds before BlackRock did.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
God.
That is
Isn't it
fucking-
kind of terrifying that that's even like a thing that could happen? Like a single person like Warren Buffett could.
That really, really old man could die and then somebody could sell off all the T-bonds.
Dude, but just like in theory, one guy could just buy all of the treasury bonds and then look at the federal government and go, nah.
What are you gonna do?
Just straight up Cartman.
Yeah, like, and if he owns, just that to me in my mind, like when I heard that the other day, I think it was Dave Smith that was talking about that. When I heard that the other day, it immediately made me think of like the owning share, right? Like if he has some significant leverage on the U.S. Treasury now, you know,
Yeah.
like significant, because
Yeah,
they can be like, hey,
like-
we need to get those back from you, and
He'd
he'd
be
be
like, no.
no. So like.
No.
Not happening.
Our system is really good, but like 250 years, we've learned some weak points in our capitalist system, and some
Yeah.
of them are this shit: investment groups and holding groups, and this is not a good system.
No, it's not.
And you're actively shilling for people that are trying to end the world.
And we're going to operate under the guise of being, it's okay. We're antitrust. We're going to be able to protect fair, we're going to be able to protect free commerce. And yeah,
This
you
is
can't
all-
protect shit because
This is all totally ignoring the fact that the guys that run these go to the WEF every year, and the WEF year over year is talking about removing human population. I just can't say it loud enough.
These are people that flew on private jets that want you to eat bugs because they think you emit too much fuel emissions.
Just the fucking fact that they have tried to convince, the fact that there are people that believe that we need to stop cattle farming because cows are emitting
Because
too
they're
much methane.
farts.
It's like before we built all the cities and the roads and the houses and the schools and the government and the investment groups, there were fucking cows. Like they've been here the whole time. It's not the cows aren't killing it's just. But
they've been, you know what produced, like, I think like it's like I think it's 5x or 10x the fucking, who did a video on this was fucking
Al Gore.
No. And I looked it up and it's true.
Cereal.
Please watch the Al Gore Uncomfortable
King
Truth.
Trout.
It's the one
King
that
Trout
did
did a
video.
rant about the amount of buffalo before we killed them all off. They were in the United States, and how buffalo produced like 10x the fucking
way worse than
gas.
cows.
And so before there were even people, there was just like fucking tens of fucking millions of buffalo roaming around
Fucking
the United States.
dinosaurs doing?
And like compared to a cow, the buffalo produces like 3x the fucking methane, and there was just fucking millions.
You
of them
produce
all over
5x the methane of a fucking cow.
I know, dude. And like, where was the ozone layer depleting when there were fucking buffalo roaming throughout the United States? It's just bullshit.
It's the fact that we stopped using
Literally, yeah.
the fact that we stopped using
Unintended.
propane as the like accelerant in hairspray. You know, and the selling point was like, hey, this is really bad for the environment. And people were like, I'm going to stop using this because of the environment. You're spraying propane on your fucking head. That's a reason to stop using it right there. Like, it's not about the environment, Susan. It's about you. It's like people weren't able, everyone knew that you could light that shit on fire with a lighter. Everyone was
my favorite thing.
And you sprayed it at your face.
That's the same fucking
day.
You breathed it in because the smell was so good.
When are people gonna just take responsibility?
Never.
That's all
We've already literally watched Coca-Cola eat rust off of steel. But
started with cocaine.
But people are watching it eat the rust off of steel, but nope, we're gonna keep drinking that shit.
You guys want to know my favorite thing about Coca-Cola and cocaine?
Yeah.
So they removed the cocaine, right?
Yeah.
The coca leaf that is inside of Coca-Cola. Nope.
No, it's there. Yeah.
They
yeah.
say they
It's
have a specific strain of
Proprietary blend.
that has been modified to not have those chemicals in the coca leaf.
so that it's not addictive.
So it's not addictive.
So
Yeah.
Except Coca-Cola is one of the most addictive soft drinks on the planet.
Yeah.
best case scenario
Okay, it
here
is,
is Monsanto made GMO cocaine leaves,
okay, look.
which sounds bad all the way around.
My wife is not addicted to anything. She literally does not. She doesn't smoke. She doesn't fucking drink. She doesn't smoke pot. Nothing. There's
But
nothing
that
she's
fucking
addicted to,
Diet Coke.
bro. Like she will straight up say, "God, I'm craving a Coke right now."
Yeah.
Craving a Coke. It's the only thing I've ever seen her go like, "I need to get a Coke." Like
people
you
that-
need to go
Look
get me
at
a
my
Coke.
brother, dude.
Oh yeah, Diet
Bryce,
Coke.
yeah.
Bryce, yeah,
The
Diet
fucking
Coke.
Diet
just
Cokes,
fucking
dude.
gallons of it, dude. Yeah, you used to get those giant 44
He would go to
ounce.
Costco and get the fucking big packs.
Yeah,
Can I like derail us slightly here? Because I just think it's like
Wait,
real
we're
life.
on rail?
yeah. I was already gonna.
You know
this is a perfect segue from my derail earlier.
You know when
so
you go
I'm
to
gonna
the
use it.
bar and there's the bowls with peanuts?
Yeah,
Do you know what that was for originally?
no,
So
I have
It was
heard
for
this.
Coca-Cola.
I've heard this.
it was for
but-
no, it was for cocaine. So because cocaine wasn't always illegal, right? Because
yeah.
you know the
Because you
government
could drink
makes
more.
everything good.
Do a little bump? Drink a little bit more.
You'd go to the speakeasies and
Yeah.
you would drink your illegal liquor, and on the bar was a bowl that had cocaine in it, and it was a party favor for everyone there because it's good for business.
Yeah.
But-
Okay. Kept you awake, kept you drinking the
But
booze.
when they made cocaine illegal, they just went and filled it full of peanuts.
But
that's why bar nuts exist.
so, and that was back when cocaine was cocaine,
yeah,
pure
real cocaine,
and not methamphetamines.
yeah.
Or fentanyl.
Or fentanyl.
baby
So,
laxative.
Your baby.
So-
laxative.
That was my favorite.
around
Drywall.
the late 70s, 80s, cocaine started to fall off in popularity. So to build up the production of cocaine or the demand of cocaine, the cartels started mixing it with methamphetamines.
Yeah.
Isn't
Oh yeah.
cocaine? I'm
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
positive,
That
like, isn't-
that I yes. That's absolutely
because
true.
it
Yes. I
increased the addictiveness of it, right?
Yeah.
That was like
it's just the potency of it.
Well,
Yeah.
because back in the
Longer
60s, 70s,
good coke is like
Coke-
a 10-minute thing, and then you're like,
Yeah. Well, it's just like there was when
I don't
like,
know anything about that.
MDMA. Remember when ecstasy hit the scene? Ecstasy hit the scene. It was very popular. Did a lot of good shit
it went
because
that way.
it was fucking pure MDMA. But then what happened? They were like, oh fuck, people really like this. Meth is cheap. MDMA is not. Let's put some meth in that
Yeah.
shit.
Do you know how?
And,
Do you know?
and now when you do MDMA, you see people's jaws go.
You're no longer fucking like
If
the
you-
lights and like
You know what's
just
not
touch my fucking
methamphetamines?
forearm.
Mushrooms.
Can't put meth in that.
I don't know anything about them. I'm not suggesting
I'm
it.
sure they'll be dunking them in there
If
soon.
you've ever done drugs with your friends and you look over at your homie and he's like this,
With his jaw moving
That's
back and forth.
that means he's on meth.
If you've
Yeah.
ever sat in kindergarten, a kid in your kindergarten class,
Nah, that means
He's
he's
on
on
Adderall.
Adderall, yes.
Which means he's on meth.
Just been misdiagnosed
Yeah.
because I will tell you that I took Ritalin. I was prescribed Ritalin when I was a kid, and that did not do that to me. It calmed me down. It chilled me the fuck out. And anytime I've ever done an accelerant like that,
Yeah.
recreationally, I want to sit on the couch and watch a fucking movie
And smoke cigarettes.
because I have ADHD.
Well, that's
and
because
that
you
does
actually have ADHD.
Yeah, because
Right.
I actually have it, but they misdiagnose the fuck out of a ton of kids.
Yeah.
And you should be diagnosing kids with anything.
Dude,
Yeah, go figure.
fat line of cocaine, and I stopped talking, and all I want to do is chain smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know anything about. This is all theoretical
It's
conversation.
all theoretical. No, I know. It's
Dude, you were talking about MDMA. Do you know what MDMA was originally used for? Like where the creative concept behind it?
thought it was
for-
a truth serum or something for
Well, maybe,
German,
but,
to be
like-
able to use it during interrogations.
That might be where it was like created, but like
Yeah.
the way it got out in the civilian market was through marriage counselors,
Oh, that's right.
which makes total sense.
Yeah,
too.
it does.
You and
Yeah.
your wife have been having some
Because
shit. You guys go to see the counselor.
It's empathetic. Oh, did you
And-
just look up the who owns Ritalin and Adderall? And this is
God damn it.
he's laughing right now because
God damn it.
so who owns Ritalin and Adderall?
So
They're owned by Pfizer.
Ritalin
Who
is a
owned
brand name drug of methylphenidate, which was developed, which was developed and introduced by the Swiss pharmaceutical company Ciba, now part of Novartis.
In the 1950s, when they reverse engineered Pervitin from the German military.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
They reimburse.
In
That's
Switzerland.
it.
Dude,
It came from the reverse engineering of Pervitin.
that's what Pervitin was. Pervitin
Yeah,
was
it was
the
the
introduction
Blitzkrieg.
of meth.
They gave
Yes.
to all the
Yeah.
fucking
The
German
entire
soldiers
German
during
military.
the Blitzkrieg
Right.
into fucking France.
Which is why the Blitzkrieg was like 3 days into Poland.
Yeah, 'cause they were like-
and they were like, we've never seen guys fight this hard, this long, and this savagely. It was thousands of meth heads, just like they were probably the best. I would love if I could go back and do Afghanistan all over again, give me a mission set. Tell me what the end goal is.
And you're going to give
Perfect.
all your boys Pervitin.
Some Pervitin, yeah. So it was a derivative of Pervitin.
Yep.
That is owned by.
It's now Novartis, and Novartis' largest shareholders are BlackRock, Vanguard.
Is it 20%?
Bro,
Probably.
in Wellington,
Okay,
Mansions
it's
been
20%.
popping up on a bunch of these also.
There-
That makes me want to look at
I
Wellington. Mansions.
guarantee you it's all the fucking same people.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I'm seeing here is you'll see something like
Somebody
you'll see
said-
Fidelity pop up, right?
Yeah.
Fidelity Investments. And what I'm getting at this is it's just the same fucking people.
Stop naming your company Fidelity. That also
Right,
Can,
like-
can you
Yeah.
pop up on the screen the definition of fidelity?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's think about it like this. These people, like BlackRock, I think their investments hold somewhere in the trillions of dollars.
Oh.
Well over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll throw this in there because this is like another fact that I really like about these three investment groups. When you look at GDP globally, right? Gross domestic product, it's kind of like
It's like everything your country
It's
produces.
the
like-
value
it's
of a
it's like
country.
evaluating
it's-
your country.
Well,
Like what
it's
is your country?
how they evaluate a
different
country,
layers.
but it's how much does your country produce?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
Right.
number
Total.
1 GDP, obviously the United States.
Yep.
The number 3 after that are BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. So out of all of the countries on planet Earth,
The top 3 countries are private
are
equity.
private equity groups.
China doesn't fall into a.
Oh no! Oh dude, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head anymore. But the when you have U.S.
So they are superpowers in and of their own right.
inside their own superpower. So
Well,
the
at
United
least they
States-
don't have a military.
It's like the United States, those 3, and then if you combined like the other 20, you don't even touch.
So-
one of
but
those investment
at
groups.
least they don't have a military. We can agree on. Oh,
Right.
wait, no, they fucking own
They
Lockheed
own
Martin.
the military.
They own the military.
The military is going to do what they want because Lockheed's going to do what they want because they own the majority share in
let's-
Lockheed.
Let's just put on our full-on conspiracy theory hats, right? So there's a meeting in the late 1960s out in the desert it's kind of the beginning of the WEF, and I can't remember the name of the papers. If I do, I'll get it to you before this goes live. But they sit down and they have this theoretical conversation about how to control the United States population moving into the future. And it's like all of the movers and shakers. It's what the World Economic Forum is now, right? And their
Are you talking about the
conversation,
Rockefeller papers?
no, it's something else. They were like the blue papers or something like that. but-
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
but they lay out this plan that includes using chemical birth control to control birth rates, to decrease testosterone rates. They talk about the food to decrease testosterone rates. Like they talk about population control by legalizing and encouraging abortion. They talk about population control by encouraging same-sex marriages and homosexual activity. They lay out this entire plan to poison the American public, confuse the American public, and to drive down birth rates and to drive testosterone out of the country. All of the things that were proposed in this, it's a very hard to prove conspiracy theory. It's just this like old form of like meeting notes essentially. But all of those things have come to fruition, right?
Right.
if these companies have the ability to poison you, to take you to war, to fund the wars, like,
Yep. To eliminate the testosterone.
it's not that big of a jump to say that these companies were directly involved with the CDC, Anthony Fauci, and the Obama administration, opening secret labs inside of Ukraine and other countries that aren't NATO but are very friendly with NATO. And then you have them leak from China. You have COVID-19 on a global stage. We can never address that it came from China, because to address that it came from China would be to admit that it came from us, that it was a lab built by the Obama administration, that Fauci fucking visited the lab. It's totally insane.
He owns shares in the lab.
A man who's been caught torturing thousands of puppies. Like, that's just how serial killers work.
Yeah.
Like if you come home, I'm beating up your kid today for some weird reason. But you come home and like your kid is like violently murdered a family dog. You got questions.
Yeah.
Next step is kids. Next step after that is people.
Yeah. No shit.
These investment groups have the influence and ability to have started a global pandemic in order to weed the people who would push back against the system out of the government, out of the military, out of law enforcement. Then they buy up during COVID is when all of the firearms companies get bought. When you start looking at when these companies sold out to holding groups, it's like 2020, 21, 22. It's right in the heart of fucking COVID that a bunch of these companies bend the knee. So they have the ability to create a global pandemic, to destabilize everybody, to kick all the real alpha type dudes out of the places that would fight back. Then they take over the private firearms industry and keep me and you from owning guns. And then they're meeting together talking about global domination, one world governments, population controls. They're saying it very openly, very out loud. Like, at some point,
When
it's
will the
not
world
conspiracy.
need a one?
We already have it.
When we need but what I'm saying is, when would be a prime time to announce that singular world government?
Right.
Well, I don't know.
The start
maybe
of World War III.
The start of World War III.
Right.
Maybe after you've started kind of like
Right.
coaching people through the process with
Like,
NATO.
why?
Well, because it's a grooming process. It's like,
Why
listen, let's
the
just set up
fuck?
NATO is a grooming process.
It's a grooming process.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's just set up one government here. We're all on the same fucking page, right?
The League of Nations.
And this
Yeah,
whole conflict with Russia, I'm not gonna defend Vladimir Putin and how he fights wars.
What I'll defend
But
is
we did that, dude. Like, it was us. Like,
I'll defend that Vladimir Putin doesn't allow GMOs in his country.
yeah, but I mean, Vladimir Putin said,
fact.
he said for his entire time in office, you guys are getting closer and closer and closer to my border. My red line is Ukraine. You fuck with Ukraine and we're going to have an issue. The Obama administration openly bragged about overthrowing the government in Ukraine and installing their own people. There seems to be a lull during the Trump administration, right? Because Trump he is actively like withholding things. He gets investigated for not like withholding money from the Ukrainian government because he wants them to look into these private companies that were washing money with Hunter Biden and these like all of that scandal, right? So the Ukraine-Russia thing seems to calm down. Day fucking one of the Biden administration, they talk about putting long-range missiles, nuclear ballistic missiles into Ukraine.
Yeah.
And Vladimir Putin is like, if you do that, that's a red line for me.
Yeah.
And they fucking do it. So like, and then as the war develops and things are getting more uncertain on a global scale, we just sent over, we were talking about on the last podcast, we just sent over long-range ballistic missiles that allowed Ukraine to take a full-on invasion into Russia, which completely changes the dynamic of the war now. The United States military and the United States taxpayer is funding a war in Russia.
Yeah.
Which means it's an existential threat for Vladimir Putin,
And-
which means nukes.
And we allow it to happen. We can't say shit about them dipping their fucking fingers into the fucking honeypot and saying, we are going to fund all this from happening. We're not doing anything about it. Yet, here's what happens. You hear what Vladimir Putin just did to that Russian-American national?
Yeah.
Lady is in Russia, doesn't agree with the war in Ukraine, donates $50 to the Ukrainian cause, right? Because there's all these little donations.
Does he ship her out to Ukraine?
No. He put her in fucking prison for 12 years.
Yeah.
$50, dude.
Look at what they're doing in London.
But see,
look at what they're doing in London. They just put a dude in
what I'm
prison
trying-
for 20 months in London for Facebook posts. I was like, I put it on my Instagram. He had a broken ankle or some shit. He was at home on the couch, unable to go anywhere, and was like, yes, I agree with what the rioters are doing. 20 months in prison.
So
no, what I'm trying to get at here is he, in his own way, agree with the Russian invasion, don't agree with it, like all that's irrelevant.
Totally irrelevant.
Make all that irrelevant and just say this. You have a person who is committing treason from their country by donating to something that is going to go against their country. $50 to Ukraine to fight against Russia. And he's like, no, I'm locking you 12 years for treason.
Yeah.
Done.
That would be like an American citizen donating approximately $13 to $39 million every month to the Taliban. Oh, wait.
Oh,
No.
wait.
Oh,
That's
wait.
us.
Oh,
We
wait.
do
That's
that.
wait. Oh, God.
Literally us.
That
It's
was the
literally your
that was
money.
the U.S. government.
Fucking
$87 million a week.
It's
a week?
treasonous.
Week, dude. We're
own-
paying the Afghanistan government. The Afghanistan government is receiving cold hard American $100 bills to the tune of $87 million a week, flown the fuck into that country and just handed off to them.
So-
and the Pentagon acknowledged this.
Yeah,
I
it's
wa-
treasonous.
I want to touch this real fast.
It's your own country acting treasonous against the American fucking people, your own government.
Because I think this plays a role in the whole contractor conversation, as well as like the shield conversation and shit like this. Because people are so easily misdirected, especially by American propaganda, because we took in Goebbels from Nazi Germany
Yeah.
and took everything.
Remember
that
how
he did.
Trump got shot in the face, and then a week later there was a dude in a dress at the Olympics, and all the conservative side was just mad about the dude in the dress?
Exactly. So
Trump got shot in the
yeah,
face.
so let's talk about this for 1 second. You have Americans, especially people in the 2A, who are very against other countries and some of the nasty shit they're doing. I'm not defending it. Just let's be clear. China's got some fucked up shit going on. Russia's got some fucked up shit going on. Sure. And America doesn't?
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, Vladimir Putin will just take somebody off the street and throw him in the gulag.
Yeah.
So does the U.S. government.
Yeah, so do they.
They'll throw somebody
Where
in the
is it?
Gulag.
Where
Yeah,
is
but it's all.
Edward
But that's the thing is that's the
You
the
don't
point
wanna
that I was
talk
trying to
about
make up
that,
is it was all over the fucking news that like, oh my God, this fucking Russian American national is thrown in jail for 12 years, treasonous
Right.
from the. Look, we should be feeling bad for that individual. No, that individual was a fucking idiot. You are in Russia donating to Ukraine.
Yeah, you're a dummy.
You're fucking retarded.
Yeah,
Is what you are.
Should you have gotten that? Probably not.
No, is it
Should
really
you have
excessive?
also-
Okay. Is it a violation of some sort of humanitarian? I don't really
you
give a
like-
fuck. You're an idiot. You shouldn't have been donating to the Ukrainian cause while you're inside of Russia. Maybe as an American national, you should have hopped on a fucking plane, came to America, then made your fucking donation.
Yeah. You should have known that there was a spotlight on you for
Yeah.
sure. You know,
Yeah.
like anything that he can use as a pawn, like any American that's going on vacation
Yeah.
anywhere near Russia right now, you're fucking retarded.
And I think there may have
Any
been a
opportunity.
donation outside. Maybe she wasn't in Russia when it was made, but then you went back to Russia. I'm sorry, dude, but if I fucking made it.
That's how I got. His name was on my brain and it disappeared. The essentially his biggest political rival came back
Oh.
into Russia.
Oh,
And he got him and put him.
Yeah. It was.
Let's
Who was?
Vlad something.
let's
Yeah, it was.
let's put it
I
in
know
this
what you're
terms,
talking
right?
about, yeah.
Mexico comes up. They take Texas.
Right, was that?
Mexico comes in. They
Let's-
take
let's
Texas.
say
They're like,
China gives Mexico long-range ballistic missiles that land in Oklahoma,
And then-
then they drive into Texas.
right, and then
How do you feel about
and
that
then
shit?
China and Russia back up Mexico, and they're like, no, you guys can't have Texas anymore. It's ours.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, don't fuck with that. We want Texas back.
Yeah.
And then they're like, actually, we're gonna put ballistic missiles in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
kind of.
don't fucking think that we're gonna go into fucking Texas?
Nuke Texas, dude. You think the Biden administration would be like, just nuke them? But
Yeah.
there's guys in Texas, nuke Texas. Fuck Texas.
Like,
right away, dude.
like that is the Ukraine conflict.
That really is, yeah.
And the
Yeah.
truly terrifying
kind of
thing
is,
with
yeah.
this is that like somehow everyone on planet Earth is well aware that like if one nuclear weapon gets launched, it's just the end
It's
of
fucked.
humanity, right? Everyone's very aware of this, and
Yeah.
yet we're just acting like this shit doesn't matter. Like we're acting like these global conflicts and we're acting like it's okay that Kamala has answered no questions.
Yeah.
Like it's not fucking okay. And it's not a judgment call on who she is. It's not a judgment call on your political. If you want to vote for Kamala Harris, that's the best thing about America. If you go into that guy's house today, you would annoy the Jesus out of me, but you have a right to support who you want to support.
Yeah.
But why are you okay with the fact that
It's
We
the-
should
no-
just all
there's
be
no
very
plan.
fucking concerned why all the wealthiest people on the planet
Yes.
are focused on
building bunkers?
getting off the fucking planet.
Yeah,
completely.
They're all trying to go to Mars,
Like,
and
hey,
then like
how
all the
long
big
can we
billionaires are
sustain
building
life just in
bunkers?
orbit on Earth, and then
Yeah.
maybe when all that fucking radiation goes away, we can
Yeah.
go back down there.
Dude, and look at how
Dude,
right
they just
Elon
like
Musk was.
space wars for all of the billionaires because they're like, everybody's gonna. They're not dummies. Like everybody's gonna blow each other up. It's all going to happen one day, unless we just stop fucking with each other. And we want to get the fuck off this Earth for a long enough period of time to come back down when the radiation levels say it's okay.
When you start looking into the big players in the tech industry, the big push is on AI right now. And obviously it's because AI is like, that's just going to revolutionize
Yeah, of
the world
course.
the way
Absolutely.
that the
It's,
They already have.
it's used it was used for this whole thing.
But one of the things that Elon Musk seems to talk about fairly frequently is the taking your personality and your collective memory and being able to upload that into some sort of AI driven system would give you forever life. And like your soul will go, but like your family would be able to interact with you, right? Because it would be an AI program
I
that
saw
learned
that.
you.
Yeah.
I think I heard fucking Zuck talk about it
Yeah.
as well, and he was like, "This is a bad idea."
Right.
Which I
because-
was like, "Damn,
Because
Zuckerberg."
imagine if you're one of these BlackRock guys, or you're Bill Gates, or you're someone with like, if you're fucking Hitler, right?
Yeah.
And you can upload yourself into this computer program.
And live forever.
Now that computer program is just carries on your lineage.
Dude, yeah.
So like
that's
how
fucking terrifying.
we are this
so you
fucking
kill
close.
Hitler and he's gone.
Right.
But if you can't kill Hitler
Right.
because the idea lives on inside of AI,
Right.
only to manifest itself
people
into other
just gonna
forms.
Fucking go with it, right? And then and we're this close.
But
to-
they sell it under the guise of you'll be able to talk to your family.
Yeah.
No.
No.
And so the most evil people on the fucking planet who have the agendas can just
Will
show up in
maintain
other
power.
show up
And
in
they're
other
able to
forms.
beta
Because
test it on people.
all this research, and none of us know what these three fucking dudes look like, right? All of this research and all these conversations, and none of us know where Joe Biden is right now, and he's the leader of the free fucking world. Like everyone is
Yeah.
totally aware that there's no
nobody has
president.
any fucking idea where he is.
Imagine if that president was just a
Listen,
computer.
I'm gonna leave you with this. Couple things here before I absolutely 100% have to go in the next couple of minutes. So we are going to end this abruptly, but this is important. I just watched a fucking like 2-hour podcast with a former CIA agent, right? And so this guy was in the CIA he was in the Marines for like fucking 14 years,
Was it like the Sean
11
Ryan?
years. And then he was in, it was actually the diary of a CEO.
Oh.
And he interviewed a CIA agent who uses his CIA skills to be able to help people in business.
Is it
You
modern,
know what I mean?
modern spy or American spy, whatever that guy is. Got like long curly
Yeah, long curly hair.
Yeah,
That
guy's
fucking guy.
awesome.
That guy's fucking rad. He said, one of the questions that was asked, he said, are we like safe in America? Like knowing what you know, because the guy kept saying, I can't talk about that, and I can't talk about this, and I know so much about everything, and I can't talk about this. He said, let me ask you this. Are you going to raise your family in the United States?
He said no.
He said, more specifically, he said by 2030, I'm leaving the country.
Yeah. And he talks about
And it like got quiet. He was like, what? Wait, can you elaborate? He's like, I can't say why. He's like, but by 2030, I'm leaving this country.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck.
that dude.
When I
yeah.
heard that, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Both for him and for us, because I'm like, how much longer are you going to be alive after you just drop that information? And you know what I mean? And like, you know, I was just like, oh, shit. Here's a guy who knows the deepest fucking darkest secrets about the United States. Just said, I'm leaving by 2030.
You gotta watch
and
the
I
Sean
have
Ryan
very
interview.
important reasons why. And I haven't seen the Sean Ryan interview.
It's
It was
real
more
good.
of a business type, like
Yeah.
You want to start
interview
with
with
him
him.
in Hawaii?
Dude, yeah.
Let's do it.
Why?
And the last thing I'll say, this is
Just
what I
find
wanted
an
to do to
island
derail the
in
entire
nowhere.
conversation earlier. I'm going to end it with this. This has nothing to do with anything that we just fucking talked about. But you tried to say a French name, and you were like, and I really appreciated how you said it, because you were like, it's flaise compétent. You know, and here's what it means. And then you moved on. Listen, I hope you guys who are listening in the audience aren't one of these motherfuckers. When somebody says, like an American, says, I'll take the bruschetta, you don't say, it's pronounced bruschetta
Unless you
with
drive
a
Porsche.
CH, with a hard C.
a
Bruschetta, bruschetta. And you order it like that. And the reason why is because I've been hearing this a lot lately. People say, you know, the fucking tortellini or macchiato. Like I was in a coffee shop and somebody ordered a fucking macchiato. And they were talking and they ordered a macchiato. Okay, listen, dumb fuck. All of you dumb fucks out there that do this, I'm just gonna call it out right now. I don't get mad at somebody like if they're like fucking I don't know, Italian or French, and they are here in the United
And they say
States.
macchiato.
No, and they are ordering off of like a menu, and I've had them. Right, I used to be a server at a table, and they're like, "Yeah, you know, I was working at Chili's," and they're like, I would like to take the Coca-Cola, and I will have a hamburger, and I will take some fries. When they say, I'll take a hamburger, I don't go, it's hamburger.
Yeah.
No, we don't fucking say that.
Mm-mm.
No, nor should you call it a fucking macchiato. Fuck you.
Can we talk about?
Can
Porsche
I
truck?
really,
Just gotta
that's been eating at me the whole, Porsche.
That is
No, we can't.
single-handedly
I'll give
the
it
most
this 30
annoying.
more seconds. God, I really have to go. Just really quickly.
I'm so happy you didn't
Porsche.
bring that up earlier.
Dude, I hope to God he's watching right now. At first, I was like, "What if he watches this? He might be offended." I don't give a fuck. So my wife and I were at the dealer. She's my wife.
Right.
Drives a nice car. I'm not
Specifically, a Porsche.
a Porsche. She drives a fucking
I
Porsche.
didn't know I touched a vein here.
I kept calling it
A Porsche.
a Porsche.
'Cause it's a fucking Porsche.
Yeah, I kept calling it a Porsche. And the
Because
guy kept-
in the King's English,
but it wasn't even that was getting me, dude. So the model is a Cayenne.
cayenne pepper.
It's Cayenne
It's
coupe.
exciting.
They make a regular Cayenne and then they make a Cayenne coupe. It's just a kind of like smaller. It's got a slanted back or whatever.
It's got
Looks
two
a little
less doors.
Looks a little sportier.
Girlier.
You know what I mean? So we're in there, and I keep saying I really like the Cayenne coupe. So let's just fucking roll the Cayenne coupe. Blah blah. It's her fucking car. So she's like, I like the Cayenne coupe. It looks sporty. Blah blah blah. Every time we said coupe, he said coupe. He would correct us and say coupe. Anyway, and it was just coupe. I'm like, it's a fucking coupe.
Yeah.
And the fact that this fucking dude sat there
he didn't go.
and just kept saying coupe, I
surprised-
was like losing my mind, and she was just like, grabbing my hand, like, stop.
I'm surprised he didn't look at you and go, "It's actually a Porsche Cheyenne coupe."
Do you know why people do that though? Because people will do anything to feel important. A Nazi officer said that they didn't have to pressure anyone to turn their neighbors in. People flooded to them to turn their neighbors in to feel important.
Yeah, to feel important.
He's got to go.
And I have to go.
When someone corrects you and says Porsche, they would turn you in if they were not.
They would.
Yeah, they would.
And with
100%.
that,
we bid thee a queef.